All right, there we go. That's dumb. Got it. The desktop audio. It's broken. Properties. Earphone Corsair. Hit OK. It's still not doing it. Bruh. Yo, what's up, Derek? How you doing, buddy? Trying to get this stupid desktop audio to work. Headset, earphone, Corsair Max. That's it. I don't know why this got to be whack, son. Let me stop right there. Let me do this. Let me do a add audio output capture. This is why I stopped streaming all those years ago. I remember. Technical issues the entire time. There we go. You should be able to hear the GoldenEye music now. I'll bring it down some. There we go. That should be better. Test. I got it over here too so I can hear it. We'll get started here in a second. Pull it up just a little bit. There we go. Got it. Cool. Anyway, how you doing, bud? What's up? How's it going? Waiting for my 5060 Ti to show up. That's what I'm talking about. If the music's too loud, let me know. If it's too low, let me know. I'm not expecting much for the stream. I really want to... So, I'm doing the AMD 30-day challenge, right? And I'm doing the AMD 30-day challenge. And so part of that challenge is obviously I need to test productivity stuff, right? So thumbnail design, which I've already done that. Rendering and editing videos, I've already done that. Recording videos, I've already done that. And now live streaming. Live streaming is the last big hurdle I have to kind of figure out, hey, how's it going? So how's the look? How does the stream look? How does it sound? Because I am live and encoding right now with the AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT using the AV1 encoder on that card. I forgot to tell Taekwondo. He wanted to know. I'll go ahead and just let him know that I'm live. So you can come by whenever, if ever. It's all good. I know he said he was editing a video. Whoa. Clicked off my own stream. How's that going to work? All right, what we got going on? Yeah, 007. I use this for my shorts. I haven't uploaded a short in a while. They're kind of like but when I do use a short, like I noticed the retention was higher whenever you do 007 because people are like, I remember that. That slaps. And I can actually use it and not get a copyright, believe it or not. I don't know why, but I think it's because like something with the license fell through. Looks good. Awesome. Happy to hear it looks good. Waiting for the 5060 Ti. All right, cool. Well, if it looks good, I guess that's the end of the stream. See you guys. No, I'm joking. We'll hang out for a little bit. Thanks for coming by. And I'm not expecting much from the stream, right? Like, because it doesn't make sense to have this like massive plan and be like, we're going to do all these things and I go live and the stream doesn't work. So now that I know I can do a basic stream, like I put all this together in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I got another scene too we'll switch to here in a second. But dude, back in the day, man, I used to have a stream like alerts and effects and like all these different things. I put a lot of effort in the stream back in the day, and we'll get back to that too. I'm just going to inch my way up there, you know what I'm saying? Derek coming in saying sounds good too. Awesome. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Hello. I'm sorry, dude. I have no idea what that says. I apologize. Can someone copy and paste Google Translate? I have no idea what that says, dude. I got the hello part. Let me see. I'll copy it. I'll go over here to Google. And be like, translate to English. Oh, it's Polish. Sweet. And how are you? Sweet. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. That's pretty cool, man. So you're from Poland? Yeah. I finally figured that out. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I wish the weather here in Georgia would make up its mind. One day it's like super cold. Next day it's like super hot. Of course, I'm extra hot right now underneath all these lights and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Glad you guys are doing, glad everybody seems to be doing well. That's pretty good. And let's see, what is that doing? Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Yep. All right, in the chat, I want people to start letting me know what hardware are you using? Is anybody like what is your GPU and what is your CPU? AMD, Intel, Nvidia? Let me know in the chat. So yeah, now that we know that the stream is actually up and running, it looks good, it sounds okay, the AMD Radeon 9070 XT can handle it totally fine. Now that we know that, I'll switch over to another scene here in a minute. We'll do some tech news stuff. I want to talk about the new Asus motherboards. I want to talk about some of the things on videocards.com right now. We'll talk about, you know, Super Series cards and all that being canceled and all that crap. LOL, join the stream for something to watch while I do my daughter's Prime 9070 XT 5800X3 and R200. Dude. Okay, what a great way to spend a Friday night building a PC. What an even better way to be building it for someone you love, your daughter. That's freaking awesome, dude. Incredible. And I did a build not too long ago in R200. It was an all AMD build. I had a 9070 in there. It was black. I painted it white. I 3D printed some parts for it. Yeah, I did a whole video on it a couple of weeks back. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. You might enjoy it. But yeah, hey, but don't worry about watching it now. Spend time with your daughter. Build that PC, man. That sounds awesome. 7800X 3D and 5080, because I know you have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea, Derek. 5600X, 3060 Ti, soon to be 5060 Ti. Nice. Oh, wait, that reminds me. This is actually a 5060 Ti right here, the Tough Gaming. I did a full review on it. Yeah, I did a full review on that. A full video up on the channel, I'm sure, as you all know. But yeah, I had it out because I'm troubleshooting a PC for a buddy of mine. His name's Zach. And I think I built him a PC, and there was supposed to be a full video on the channel about it. Like, help my friend switch the console to PC. And he had, like, and I gave him the 4070 Super I had. And I'm pretty sure, like, he used it for maybe a month, and I'm pretty sure the 4070 Super went bad. So, like, I got it over here on the floor. I've been troubleshooting and stuff. And then on top of that is my next door neighbor's PC that needs some updates and stuff. So I just, you know, people find out, hey, you do tech YouTube. Can you help me out? I'm like, sure. So anyway, let's see, 5600X, 3060, yep. And then let's see, Tough 5090, 9950X3D. I got the same setup. That is my main setup. Right now, I'm using the 9070 XT for the 30-day challenge, but that is my normal setup. 9950X3D, Tough Gaming 5090. Ryzen 9, what is that? 9500 XT CPU, 64 gigabyte RAM. 9070 XT XFX. That's dope. How's that? That's freaking awesome. That's how that is. That's awesome, dude. That's the 16 gigabyte. Yeah, this 5060 Ti, this is 16 gigs. Yep, that's correct. If let's see, if so, it's what I ordered. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. Yeah, it's a good card, man. I mean, I'll be honest, like the only thing about the card I don't like is the 128-bit memory interface, but What are you going to do, right? GPUs are insanely expensive. And honestly, there was one night, I forget what happened. Something happened. Oh, yeah, I was testing the ASRock 9070 when Battlefield 6 came out. Sorry, back up. I was testing the ASRock 9070 when Battlefield 6 beta came out, and the beta had a bug, and so AMD wasn't playing with it fine. Right now, AMD does great on Battlefield 6, but for the beta, not so much. So my 9070 kept crashing, and I didn't want to shove my 5090 back in the PC real quick because it's so big, it takes time. So I was like, what's a small card around me, or a smaller card? And I saw the 5060 laying on the 5060 Ti. I'm like, come here. And I was playing with the boys, and I put in the 5060 Ti, and I'm like, you know what? We're just going to rock this the rest of the night. And it worked. I mean, I was able to play, so 5060 Ti, in spite of the 128-bit memory interface, it works. I mean, so yeah. Let's see. Ryzen 9 5950 RX 7900 XTX. Yeah. 7900 XTX, when it first came out, I bought it. I had the reference model. I wasn't happy with it. Did my video on it. But man, now today I got that Sapphire Nitro over there. That card's amazing. It truly has aged like fine wine. It's gotten so much better, But I mean, that's what you expect from a company, right? I mean, any company, I don't care who it is. Even if it comes out the gate perfect on day one, which, let's be honest, almost no product or service is, you expect it to still get better over time, right? And, AMD, I will say they do a great job making sure that they update crap and they get on top of it. So that's good. And if you hear me say the word crap, I'm not insulting something. I loosely just like, look at that crap over there. Like, I don't mean it in a derogatory way. And so far for content creation, it's genuinely not even that bad. People are overly hating it. Yeah, true. Oh yeah, 97XT was. Yeah, no, dude. I mean, okay. So, as some of you probably have noticed by now, I have released a video every day this week, and that's because last Friday, 1 week ago today, I filmed a 3-hour podcast with Taekwondo and Danny Z Reviews. Now, we don't have a dedicated like podcast channel or a playlist or anything like that, just because it's like, who's going to manage it, So I realized, I'm like, if I upload a 3-hour podcast, nobody's going to watch that, right? So I said, well, each one of these topics, I can just make a clip of it and be like, that's a video, that's a video, that's a video. And then I can give YouTube what YouTube wants, which is volume, right? And so I'm like, I'll just upload a video every day. And some of the videos have done decent. Some of the videos, not so much. But a lot of the people in the comments are like, dude, I love the commentary. I love the banter the three of you have. Keep it up. But today was the last video for a while. I still got 2 more. They're done. They're already up on the channel. I just got them privated. And I'm not going to release them because I don't want to bore everybody to death with the same type of content. So starting next week, there'll just be more videos of me doing my normal thing. And then I'll save the other 2 episodes for like a rainy day or something. But let me know in the comments, like, do you guys, or let me know in the live chat, do you guys like the podcast style, the little clips that I do with Danny Z and Taekwondo, or is that something you're not really feeling? Let me know. You were right about this motherboard. I have no problem with it. I recommend it to everyone because it doesn't cost a penny and is, yeah. So, remind me what motherboard is it, but I'm happy that my recommendation panned out. So that's great. Yeah, it is a nice upgrade and only going for 2K. So hopefully lasts a while before having to upgrade. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, and this is something we did talk about in one of those podcast episodes too. Well, y'all haven't seen it. That's the one I haven't released yet. It's on my mind because I just edited it. But basically, one of the episodes we have is talking about, how to still enjoy your hardware and basically get the most out of it. And honestly, man, YouTube, the tech bubble on YouTube, it does a great job at making everybody feel FOMO. Oh, I got to upgrade. I got to get the latest and greatest. I got to go upgrade right now. But the reality is you don't really have to do that. You know what I mean? So much hardware can last you for years at a time. I mean, out the gate, day one is going to be great because it's brand new. And then over time, maybe you overclock it. Maybe you undervolt it. Maybe, maybe you turn down some settings. Maybe you go back and play some older games. So anyway, all right. Yes, that was cool. Yes. Okay, cool. Yes, this is a nice upgrade. I'm only going for TI. Yes, and then yeah, that was cool. I watched your 9070 XT challenge update. It was super chill. Yeah, awesome, cool, tough. 870X plus Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's a good board. It's a good board. All right, let's see. Let's switch over to the other scene. Let's do some tech news. I'll turn off the music for a second. Turn off the music, and then we'll go over here and we'll do some tech news. Let's see. Can you still hear me? I still see the mic moving. Let me know if you cannot hear me. Ooh, do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Should still be able to hear me. Da 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 da. I'm loving it. I don't even eat McDonald's, but their jingle gets in my head like all the time. Oh, got to figure out this little cutout thing right here. All right. Cool. All right. Yep, you're good. Awesome. All right, so basically, since the stream's working okay and there's 18 people here hanging out with me, let's talk about some tech news. Maybe this becomes a video and maybe your comments end up in the video. All right, cool. I appreciate it. Let me do this one time. I swear this looked better when I tested it earlier, and now I'm all out of frame and crap. I'm super picky about that crap. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. So I did not go to CES this year, as you all know. And at first I was having a little bit of FOMO about that because everybody's like, man, you got to go to CES, the connections. I cannot tell you how many people behind the scenes was telling me, E-Rock, you're missing out, man, the amount of connections. And so I didn't go. The go there from Atlanta, obviously I'm not going to drive, so I'm going to fly. It was going to be about $750 round trip just for the flight. Then I would have to pay for a hotel, not to mention food. And then honestly, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. You got to take some help with you. One, I didn't really have anybody I could take with me. But two, if I would have to pay for their flight. So that's another $750. And I'm like, I'm going to go and it's just going to be AI crap. And sure enough, I watched all the keynotes. All the keynotes were AI. But there were some announcements that were made that had nothing to do with AI or, maybe there wasn't dedicated keynotes for, and it would have been cool to see it in person, but I still got all the same information and I didn't have to pay all that amount of money, right? Love the content. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Angle your camera up, I guess. Yeah. Maybe that's it. Well, yeah. Well, that at this point, that wouldn't help. I've already jacked. Yeah, I did move it up some. Anyway, all right. So, but yeah, so one of the things that I saw that was genuinely exciting are the new motherboards from ASUS. And I'll tell you why. Now, full disclosure, no sponsorship here. I don't have these motherboards in possession. I haven't even spoken to ASUS about getting these motherboards. You guys know ASUS has sent me some stuff, but I've had genuinely no conversations with anybody at ASUS about these boards. I just saw them announce it like everyone else. I got the same information at the same time. And I was like, that's actually really freaking cool. And so I want to talk about it. I just don't know which one. Let's see. So yeah. All right. So the refined and upgraded ASUS AM5 motherboard lineup offers new choices. So I'm not going to read everything, spec for spec, but I figured we could talk about a couple of things here that I think are, pretty freaking cool with it. Right. So the biggest, there's two key changes with this, right? One is going to be the PCIe lane, optimize. So long story short here, and sorry, it's all white and crap on the page. Long story short, basically with all the last couple of years, all the ASUS motherboards that came out, everybody pretty much loved the look of them or most of the features, but the most common complaint that a lot of people got, and I know this because I reviewed quite a few of their boards and I got the same comment on all my channel, on all of my videos. The same comment was, I don't like the way they're doing lane sharing. Everybody should buy the ASRock board because it doesn't have lane sharing. And that's technically not true, right? So first of all, I won't talk about the ASRock blowing up X3D chips or whatever. But technically, every board has lane sharing. It comes down to how you allocate those lanes. You get what I'm saying? Every board has lane sharing. It's just how do you pivot and use those lanes? And so to say the ASRock Nova or whatever it was didn't have lane sharing was a bit disingenuous, but I do agree that they did a better job at allocating the lanes and where they put them, because basically what gamers want is they want the full speed of the PCIe lane. That's what they want. They don't want to pop in an M.2 and then it goes from X16 down to X8, even though we have all the data in the world that suggests it's not really that big of a performance penalty. Nobody wants it, right? Because if you're spending all this money for these very, 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 very expensive GPUs, you want everything out of it. And I get that, man. I get that entirely. So I guess ASUS finally got enough of that feedback and they're like, screw it, we'll just reallocate the lane. So with these new boards, all the new boards that they just announced at CES, all the new boards basically have brand new lane allocation. And it's not just the high end, it's also on the tough gaming, so the cheaper model as well. So as I understand it, it works like this. There's here you go right here. So you can now run 2 Gen 5 M.2 drives at full speed, along with an additional 3 Gen 4 drives. So that's a total of 5 M.2s, and you won't take away any lanes from the GPU. And I think that's going to be on the ROG Strix X670E-E Gaming Wi-Fi Neo. And I'm sure that's not the only one. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. I know the Tough Gaming has reallocated lanes. I know ROG Crosshair Glacial has reallocated lanes. So that should be something that's great for a lot of people. They also announced, the Glacial. The Glacial is like this big Mac Daddy thing. So if you look at the Glacial, it has a full LCD screen on it, which is like, wow, okay, like basically the whole IO shield now is just it's just a thing. PCIe, let's see. I'm glad you didn't go to CES 2026. I personally think you should try your luck with Computex, as Computex is the real thing. Dude, I would love to go to Computex, but my goodness, that's gonna be like that's gonna be a lot of money to fly out there, man. That'd be a lot of money, but maybe we'll see how things go. Anyway, long story short, I'm not gonna, harp on it too much, but basically they announced some new boards. What my favorite part about the new boards, obviously the lane allocation, but also this little connector right here. So I'll try to zoom in. So if you see this little connector right there, that connector now works with their new AIO lineup. And what this allows for them to do is it allows for them to basically have a cordless or wireless look, if you will. That one connector on the board now controls everything that the cables do that come off your AIO. So now if you buy an AIO, typically it has like 2 cables coming off it. One goes to a USB header and then one goes to a fan header or something like that. Or sometimes you have to have a controller, all that stuff, right? Well, this one connector on the motherboard now does all of that for you. And you don't have to look at any cables coming off the block. So it's a very, very, very clean look. The downside of this, obviously, is one, it's probably going to be fairly expensive. The Glacial is obviously going to be expensive, but I don't think the Glacial is the only board that has it. I think they have a Tough Gaming model that also offers it. So thankfully there is a cheaper option, but also the downside of this is that in order to take advantage of this, you have to have one of these motherboards with that connector, and then you have to have one of their AIOs that matches with the connector. So it's not like you can just take your existing AIO, unfortunately. But I thought that was pretty cool. That's like next level stuff. And then crap, I'm gonna go back. And then so here's a good look of what that looks like. So that's basically the same board we were just looking at, and that's one of their new AIOs. So they have a shorter tube running on it now, and then you get whatever these effects are up there. I don't know if this is just like a static design or if you can change this and customize it or not, but it's pretty cool that you're not just looking at like a white interface, like you actually have a little bit of like an LED or digital output there. That's pretty cool. But it's my first time streaming in years, so forgive me if I'm a little bit all over the place. But anyway, that's a super cool, very clean design. The tubes are shorter. You have that nice design up top, and there's no cables coming off of it. Now, imagine if you built something like this with like a BTF motherboard and a BTF case. Obviously, this motherboard is not BTF, back connect or whatever. So I don't know if they offer this with a back connect. That's something I do want to find out. But imagine if they bring this to like a back connect motherboard. Now, basically in the front, you have no cables at all whatsoever. The only thing you would see would be that tube. So I think that's pretty cool, man. I think they're, they're innovating and, or they're at least progressing forward. And so I think that's pretty cool. Also, apparently the BIOS is getting an update to look like this now. So if anybody has used Armoury Crate, yes, I know it sucks. Nobody really likes using it, and I know all the pain points with it. But if anybody has used Armoury Crate, this is kind of a similar UI that Armoury Crate uses. Apparently, the BIOS, the UEFI BIOS, is going to look like this now, supposedly. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe it's just in the easy mode, because you see up there it says easy mode, and then once you hit F7 to go to advanced, maybe it switches back to the traditional layout. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't spoken to anybody at ASUS. I haven't tested it myself, but I guess the idea is supposed to be a little bit more user friendly. So I'm looking forward to getting, a little bit more information on that as well. Yeah, that's that Q connector we were just talking about. I know a lot of people probably won't get this board because this is their new flagship board. This is the top of the line board, right? This is like the Mac Daddy, the best or whatever. So it does have that Q Connect that we were talking about, but this particular board also comes with a fan that mounts down here and it blows air onto the DDR5 so that you can clock higher, run higher speeds, all that stuff, right? What's up, Tracy? Good to see you, buddy. And then it also comes with not one, but I think two. It might just be one add-in card. I thought it was two, but yeah, it comes with that add-in card. So I think this particular board, you can actually run up to 7 M.2s and possibly not lose any lanes on your GPU at all, if I understand that correctly. Let's see. I want to make sure. That's pretty cool. Yep. Asus really stepping up. Gotta love it. Yeah, man. I think, I mean, I know they're a bit pricey at times and stuff, but like, you know, when it comes to motherboards, they really knock it out the park. They really knock it out the park. So yeah, and this is just like all the other ones. Yeah, they announced a lot of new boards, like basically a whole new wave. Oh, and one of these boards, which one is it? Is it the Glacial? It might be the ProArt. One of these boards now has not one, but two 10 gigabit Ethernet ports, which I know that's what a lot of people were asking for. So I forget which one it is. But yeah, one of these has it. And then, yeah, let's see. So ROG Strix LC 4 series AIO CPU liquid coolers can beat the heat with it. Yeah, that's marketing. Okay. Yeah. So you basically have to buy one of these new coolers. It looks like it comes in black or white, and then you have to get one of the motherboards that has that Q Connect, and you completely get that clean look. And I love that. I'm all about aesthetics, man. Like me personally, you know, if I want a certain look, I'll pay to have it. I've always been that way. But obviously, you know, value is incredibly important as well. But I'm telling you right now, you know, take note of this. I'm telling you right now, I think this look is going to get so popular. I think this look right here is going to get so popular. I think you're going to, I don't know if Asus has a patent on this or not, but I guarantee other motherboard manufacturers are going to try to adopt the same thing. Because if you think about it, most of them, well, not most, but a lot of them have their own AIOs. Like MSI has their own AIOs. They could do literally the exact same thing as Asus, right? But like Gigabyte, they do have AIOs, but they don't have a lot. I don't know. But they could also go like, some of them could try to do like an open source thing where they do, hey, we have this connector and it will work with this adapter. It can work with any AIO or any AIO after 2025, or I don't know how they do it. But either way, like I love this stuff. Let's see. Wait, 2 like in and out, not 10. Yeah, 2. Well, I don't know if it's in and out. Like I just heard them like at one of the CES videos, I heard them say it has 2 10 gigabit ports on it. But they didn't really show it or go in. Like it was like an interview, I think, that one of the Asus reps was doing. I still plan on getting a BTF motherboard. I don't blame you, man. BTF is really nice. It's really clean. I still have no experience with BTF. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I felt like there was something else on these boards I wanted to talk about, but I forget. But yeah, I mean, the big things there are these boards have the new Q connector. You pair it with an AIO. You have that clean look. They did enhance the memory compatibility, but I don't really think there's much to talk about there. I know the Asus reps would obviously disagree with that, but I mean, I have a ROG Maximus Hero board right now. It can already, I mean, I throw 8,000 in there. It runs totally fine. I don't even have to tweak it. I mean, like, so there's not really much higher you can go. And I know they're talking about 9,000 kits and all that, but one, RAM, we have the shortage. Nobody can buy it. Nobody can afford it. So talking about RAM in any capacity, it just doesn't make sense right now. But yeah, anyway, I'm super happy with the new updates, the PCIe lane sharing change workaround that they came up with. I think that's awesome. And I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that. So yeah, so that's really cool. And then other than that, I figured we could go over here. Let's see. Okay, so this was something else that I saw, right? Let me catch up on chat real quick. Let's see. In my setup, I have an AIO cooler, Lee & Lee GA2 Light 360 Performance 360 millimeter black all-in-one. It cools my 9950X3D 74.5. Yeah, believe it or not, with all the Asus stuff that I have, I'm actually currently using a Lee & Lee cooler myself because Lee & Lee sent it to me a while back, and I was supposed to make a video on it. I didn't. My bad. But I'll get around to eventually featuring it. But yeah, it's yeah, I mean, 9950X3D, though, it's also not too terribly hard to cool. I mean, especially if you put Curve Optimizer on it and stuff like that. So anyway, One of the other things that Asus was talking about at CES as well was their BIOS is now supposed to have the built-in Wi-Fi drivers for the motherboard. So, which is pretty cool because if you're doing a fresh Windows installation, you're not going to have to do, you're not going to have to go download drivers to have Wi-Fi or internet, or you're not going to have a second computer to go download, internet drivers. Basically, like you'll have a default that'll work. And I've been doing a lot of Linux research lately, as I know a lot of you know. And it makes me wonder how that would translate to Linux, because with the Linux videos I put out, I've seen some people complain about, I tried Linux and then it didn't have Wi-Fi drivers and it took forever to figure out how to get internet and blah, blah. So I wonder if this would be something that would work for Linux. I'm very curious about that, and that's something I would have to talk to them about. But according to this Video Cards article, Asus doubles BIOS size on AM5 motherboard, but Wi-Fi drivers may be removed in the future to support more AMD CPUs. So I'm like, why would you announce that feature just to take it away? I don't know how true that is, but I'm just reading the headline there, so that's kind of interesting. And then let's see, Steam Machine, guys. Okay. Are any of you excited at all whatsoever for the Steam Machine? Yes or no? I made a Steam Machine video and nobody watched it. And I'm like, okay, clearly people aren't interested in me talking about it. But I've seen other videos from other creators where people did watch it and got hundreds of thousands of views. Maybe it's just my channel. Maybe nobody likes me. I don't know. The problem with the drivers in Windows is that even though you install them from the manufacturer, Windows overrides. Yeah, that's true too. That's definitely true as well. Yeah, Windows, man. Goodness gracious. Shell of its former self, am I right? Well, apparently the Steam Machine price starts at a high level. Basically, Steam Machine shows up at first retailers, but the price looks like a placeholder. I'm going to tell you something. Before we go any further on this, I'm going to tell you something. What was it? The 40 suit? No, it was a 50 series cards had a placeholder price. And no, the 50 series cards had a retail leak where it was like $1,400 for a 5080. And everybody was like, this is stupid. This can't be true. I can't believe certain YouTubers are running with it and banking thousands of views off it. How they couldn't have been more wrong. Then like 3 weeks later, NVIDIA announced the 50 series cards and you saw the MSRP, and of course the 5080 was $1,000. And I remember having conversations to be like, oh my goodness, see that? Like people can just upload anything and get away with it. But what happened eventually? Eventually, we got the AIB pricing, and the AIB pricing for 5080s was actually closer to that placeholder price, right? So in this particular case, yeah, so they say it's a placeholder, but I don't know, boys. All right, so anyway, long story short, the 512 gigabyte is looking to be, let's see, around $950. And so this is weird to me, right? They have a 512 gig model, and they have a 2 terabyte model. They don't have a terabyte model. I thought that was very interesting. The cheapest model is going to be $950. And if you go up to 1070, supposedly you get the 2 terabyte model. I'm sorry. Like I love the idea of the Steam Machine. I just talked about this in the video that came out today talking about Linux. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. But I love the idea of the Steam Machine. I have a 3D printer now. I've been printing like crazy with it, and it has customizable faceplates, and I love how small it is. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's a PC console. It's awesome. And I'm definitely going to make my own faceplates for it. But given the specs and yes, the limitations of it, I think this is way too expensive. But I also understand the market and how crazy things are right now. So what are your thoughts on the Steam Machine? Let's see what you got here. It's a cool idea, but not for me. Respectable. No, poor. Yeah. Steam Machine. I just want the Steam native VR headset. Not a big fan of doing it on my MetaQuest. Gotcha. That's fair. I did hear a lot of positive things about the VR headset. A lot of people are very excited about that. Holy, yep, I know. My 5090 costs $23.21.4. Oh, you got that down to the penny, huh? Pounds when I bought it on release day. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, man, because, you know, GPUs are so popular and people love talking about GPUs. People love watching content on GPUs. People love making content on GPUs. They're so popular and they have just been completely, forgive my language, they have just been completely bastardized. I mean, you can't get excited for a GPU anymore. I mean, we know what's going to happen now. We know whenever NVIDIA announces a new GPU, we know the pattern. We know they're going to make a bunch of bogus marketing claims that are not true, like the 5070 matching the 4090. We know they're going to list the MSRP, and we know that nobody can get it for that because the only cards going for MSRP are the Founders Edition models. The Founders Edition models are like unicorns. You can only get them at like Best Buy here in America. A couple of micro centers occasionally would carry them, but for the most part, it's a very, 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 very limited supply. So then you have to go buy an Asus card or a Gigabyte card or an MSI card, and then you're going to pay the AIB pricing because nobody's in business to lose money. So they all have to get their slice of the pie. And from what I understand, NVIDIA is not a good partner to work with, or they're not an easy partner to work with. How about that? And so NVIDIA makes it very tough for the partners, their partners, AIB partners, to cut a profit, from what I understand. And so that's partially why you see the AIBs hundreds of dollars more expensive every time, because they're having to pay NVIDIA just to use the freaking chip. You have to keep that in mind. They're buying the GPU from NVIDIA, and then they're putting their own cooler and all that R&D on top of it, and then they're putting it out in the market. And they're saying, well, we got to make a profit, so ching ching, you know. Now, still, with that being said, that doesn't justify a 5080 being almost $2,000 because there are literally $1,800 models, and I just don't support that, right? But yeah, it just sucks, man. Because like, if they say it's going to be $1,000, I want everybody to be able to get it for $1,000. We can debate all day long if it's worth $1,000. That's a different conversation. But it sucks whenever it's like MSRP is $1,000, and now you know that's where it starts. It only goes up from there, right? 2 years ago, yes. Now, no, yep. Wait, they're making another VR headset. Yep, VR is making another headset. That's correct. The fact Valve stopped producing the low spec Steam Deck suggests to me they have. Yeah, the variation. Yeah, they might. Corporations are striving to use everything. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, right? I think if, not to sound too pessimistic, right? But I think if everybody had it their way, in their perfect world, I think if everybody had it their way, I think you would basically not have any hardware and you would just rent the hardware like through the cloud or whatever with the infrastructure. I think that's probably, what they would go for. I'm sorry, we don't have any GPUs to sell, but you can rent one for $10.99 a month. By the way, we're going to limit you to 100 hours, so you better not play more than 100 hours in the month. I'm not a smart tech guy, but I guess you popped into my feed because I've been looking up stuff. I want to build a new PC and get away from NVIDIA prices, possibly go with AMD build. So hi, welcome in. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. This is my first live stream ever, and I'm using an AMD GPU, 9070 XT. So I pretty much have all the AMD. I have all the AMD cards this gen and all the NVIDIA cards. And because I have a 5090, obviously I'm going to use that. But I decided to do a 30-day challenge. That video is up on the channel, so that might be something you're interested in checking out. I also did a 30-day update. I did an update on that challenge earlier this week as well. So far, so good in short. This is me testing the card and its capabilities. So if you think the live stream looks good and sounds good, that is the 9070 XT for you using the AV1 encoder with the OBS Studio. So yeah, if you're happy with what you're seeing, that it's awesome. In terms of gaming, it performs incredibly well. Yeah, it's a great card. I've done a full dedicated review on the card from the gaming perspective too. So that's up on the channel if you want to check that out. But yeah, welcome in. Love to have you here. Absolutely. Yeah, it was the 30-day challenge video that first popped up for me and I subbed. Awesome. Thank you for the sub. And yeah, that's fantastic. And let's see, between Asus ROG, Xbox Ally X, and Steam Machine, both costing $1,000, which would you purchase? Ooh, goodness gracious. Oh man, that's a good question. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you on this one. Okay. I'm going to answer that question objectively, and then I'm going to tell you my personal preference, okay? Objectively speaking, I think probably the better value proposition would probably be the Xbox Ally. And that's just because it's running on Windows, so it's going to naturally have more compatibility with it. And from all the benchmarks I've seen of it, people seem to be very happy with its performance capabilities. However, my personal preference, I'm not the biggest handheld gamer. I used to be when I was a kid, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance SP, all that stuff. But for the most part, like in my life right now, I don't really find, like, I'm like, if I got time to game, I'm on the PC, right? If I don't have time to game, then I'm not gaming. That's just me personally. I know everybody's not like that. So for me, I would probably lean towards the Steam machine personally. But I think generally speaking, for the average person, I think the Xbox Ally is probably the way to go. Probably. Here, let me kick back over to this real quick. Talk to you guys a little more so I don't have to look like a little dot over there. What is? Oh yeah, I got to turn this back on. That's right. Not bad. Cool. All right. There we go. Got some music back going. Let's see. And then it's like, yeah, okay. I bought a UPS and a DataVac, anti-static vacuum, because I want to preserve my 5090. All right, as long as possible. Hey, that's respectable. I mean, you paid a lot for it, right? I'd only buy a Steam machine if I had... Yeah, so the Steam machine having 8 gigs, I'm not going to lie, guys, that's pretty whack. Yeah, so I didn't set my scenes up right, so now when I go to this scene, the camera's like up here. I had to lower it. But, yeah, I mean, just at the end of the day, dude, like... The Steam machine was basically built as a Steam hardware survey. Valve obviously looked at the Steam hardware survey. They looked at the number one. They looked at the number one in each category and said, "This is what we're gonna go with. We're gonna target that performance level." And I guess that's fine for the most part. I mean, people can't really complain about the hardware if that's the most commonly used hardware, but then they can complain about the hardware because if it's the most commonly used hardware, then most people already have the hardware, so it's not really an upgrade for them. It's a lateral move, right? Also, you know, that hardware, that spec sheet's a little bit dated. The problem really comes down to when they're saying, you know, we're targeting 4K 60, and I'm all about that. I'm all about that. That's not really a problem. But I challenge how many... Like, a lot of newer games I don't think are going to hit the 4K 60 marker. But at the same time, with the Steam Deck, right? The Steam Deck was able to have custom profiles built for it by the developers of the games. Like Cyberpunk, for example, the devs of Cyberpunk made a Steam Deck profile. So now you can play Cyberpunk on the Steam Deck if you use that profile. Valve's already confirmed they're going to do the exact same thing with the Steam machine. So maybe by working with strategic partnerships and working closely with the developers, they can make dedicated Steam machine profiles. And normally the game probably couldn't hit 4K 60, but if you use that particular profile, then maybe. But more than likely, guys, in spite of the price, I'm probably going to get a Steam machine so I can review it on the channel. So please, if I do that, like, comment, subscribe, show support, because ad revenue is not great. Maybe Steam machines should have 2 tiers. I agree with that. So if I was in charge of the Steam machine, you want to know what I would do? I would basically take the model they're doing right now, and I would shoot for $500. That's what I would shoot for. And I understand they probably can't do that because they would lose some money. But console companies they're a loss leader all the time, and they make up the money. Valve is more than big enough to do that. They generate so much revenue in Steam sales. They could absolutely be a loss leader if they wanted to. And then maybe on the second model, you don't become a loss leader. Maybe on the second model, you break even at least, or you make a little bit of profit. And so, yeah, you have 2 different tiers. Midnight Wolf, what's up, dude? Welcome in. Cyberpunk 2077 polished game. Yeah, it's come a long way since release. If you're on a budget, the Ryzen 5600 CPU, AM4, B550 cheaper, 60. Very true. Very true. Yeah, so that all AMD PC that I recently built on the channel that I gave to a couple of friends of mine, the one that's white with 3D printed parts, that's an all AMD system. The platform is AM4 running DDR4. The GPU was newer, it's 9070, because I ended up having 2 9070, so I could give them one and not, take from like doing 2026 benchmarks. And yeah, it ran great. It still runs great. They love it. When I check in with them, like, hey, how's it going? They're like, it's great. I love this thing. I'm like, awesome. So that was a fun project I did for people, and I'm really glad they were able to enjoy it a lot. Let's see. So we talked about that. We talked about the Steam Machine. Okay, we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's see. Outside of that, how's everybody doing tonight? And in future live streams, what would y'all like to see? Would y'all like to see more stuff like this where we talk about tech news and what's going on in the tech space? What exactly would tickle your fancy, as they say? Hey, Pellin? Love the 9770. Don't even miss the fact it is not an XT model. Yeah, because you keep reminding me that you can apparently flash the BIOS of the 9070 and make it perform like a 9070 XT. I need to try that. You know, out of all the times you've told me that, Midnight Wolf, I still have not tried that. I need to try that. I definitely need to try that 1,000%. Yeah, I definitely need to try that. I think at one point we peaked almost at 30 people watching. That's freaking crazy for something I didn't really promote or anything. Thank you guys so much for the support. Y'all are incredible. Overall, do y'all still like most of the content I'm putting out? I know, because views are down across the board pretty much for like every tech YouTuber, and I know that has to do with the market and how bad things are, right? But then also I look at some tech YouTubers and I'm like, no matter what they upload, they do well. And I'm over here struggling with over 31,000 subs, and sometimes my videos struggle to hit 1,000 views, and it's like, okay, is my content just not great, or maybe the algorithm's not showing it up? So I'm always looking for feedback too. Definitely feel free to give me some feedback on that. Reading chat, let's see. Word, I'm not like strictly on a budget, but definitely interested to give it a try. Let's see, the 9070 uses 30% less power than the XT, yep, but achieves 95% of the performance. Yeah, I mean, so look, you don't have to sell me on the 9070. I received the 9070 and the 9070 XT at around the same time, and the reviews, the embargo went live on the same day. So it wasn't like, hey, today you can publish your review on the 9070 and then you publish your review on the 9070 XT. That's not how that worked. It was one day, both cards, the review embargo was up. Well, I knew everybody was going to go 9070 XT and I would get buried. So I decided, let me go against the grain. Let me do the 9070. And the video, it didn't like flop, but it didn't do as good as it should have. Part of that was because, yeah, I was going against the grain, right? But also, it's like everybody's like, I'm just going to get the 9070 XT. And to be honest with you, man, I mean, if you get the if you have both cards for MSRP, it's a $50 price difference. And at a $50 price difference, it makes sense to get the 9070 XT. However, if given the market conditions, if you get outside the price of $50 and the difference is greater, 9070 is a good card. And I think a lot of people sleep on it. I'm just going to, keep it, keep it 100 with you. I think a lot of people sleep on it. Let's see. Very much enjoy the content. Oh, I'm sorry, RP. Yep. Thank you. Especially the discussions with you. Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Don't need the flash 9070. I'm pulling 330 watts with an overclock. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. And let's see. Are you working? What's the situation like in Georgia right now? Yeah, so I have a 4080 and almost matches the... Yeah. Okay, so am I working? So, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to know a little bit more about me, I'm happy to tell you. So, yeah, channel is E-Rock on Tech, but my real name is Eric. But a lot of my friends over the years started calling me E-Rock, and so I was like, I'll go E-Rock on Tech. Married, I got a kid. He's 6 years old, turns 7 next week. Our birthdays are one day apart, so he's January 18th, I'm January 19th. And yeah, I live in the state of Georgia, and I have a bachelor's degree in computer information systems with a concentration in database management. I've spent the last 8 years working for a company doing SQL development work in databases, Microsoft SQL Server. This past year, they basically told me, hey, we're shifting everything around. We don't really need that skill set anymore. So basically, if you want to stay employed here, you're now going to be a Python developer and a little bit of a Velocity developer. And I'm like, okay, didn't go to school for it, never done anything like that, but sure, I need a job. So I pivoted. And yeah, so I am working. I work remote 5 days a week. Thankfully, I'm very grateful for my position. Absolutely. I would love to do content full time, but that's probably never going to happen at this rate. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see. I really like the chill live stream. I enjoy listening to tech stuff and discussing tech news. Also, I'm running the RTX 5070 Ti, 9800X 3D, 32 GB RAM. Also purchased QD OLED, future proof. I also live. Dude, you live in Atlanta? That's awesome. If you ever want to meet up, let me know. It'd be cool to, say hi. We could do that. Yeah, the 9800X 3D is a great CPU. I'm a little bit disappointed with the announcement of 9850X 3D. If you haven't seen my video on that, I put out a video this week talking about my thoughts on that. And yeah, QD OLED, yeah, you're definitely good. And the 5070 Ti is pretty much my go-to recommendation for most people this generation. So if you say, hey, what are your two go-to cards? I'm going to say 5070 Ti, 9070 XT. And then at that point, the only thing you have to decide is, do you want AMD or do you want NVIDIA? And for most people, that always comes down to price and not really features. There are some people who buy based on, hey, I want to go against the grain. I want to support the underdog, so to speak, or I'm just against NVIDIA. Some people do buy based on that. But for the most part, it really just comes down to price point. So if you have the 5070 Ti, if you have the 9070 XT, as good as the 9070 XT is treating me right now, and I can definitely vouch for it, I would still probably say if they're the same price, get the 5070 Ti, definitely. Awesome. I'm not into it right now, but for like creative stuff, music production, video editing, stuff like that, what is the most important part of the tech not to cheap out on? Thanks for the reply. Yeah, no worries. Happy to reply. Yo, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing great. Good to see you here. Every time I see your icon, I just say to myself, penguin, every time. What is the, let's see, your question was, what's the most important part of the tech not to cheap out on? Ooh. Well, you don't want to go too cheap on a power supply because, that powers all of your components, right? The last thing you would want to do is fry something. But pretty much all new power supplies have to meet certain standards. So as long as you're buying like an up-to-date model, you're probably going to be good there. Not to cheap out on. That's honestly, I would say not to cheap out on. I'm going to go against the grain on this one. So the one place you have the most capability of saving money is going to be the motherboard. So that's an easy place to cheap out on. But I would say don't cheap out on it because quality of life motherboard features are so important. Take it from me. Dude, I got like 12 motherboards sitting in the closet. I'm not exaggerating. And I've been doing content creation now for 5 years. I've live streamed on Twitch. I've made YouTube videos. Don't ever underestimate USB port connections and how many you might need. You're like, I don't need that many. And then time goes by. You buy a camera. You try to connect it to your computer. You're like, oh, I'm out of ports or whatever. Yeah. So, and honestly, man, like I've had to do some troubleshooting support for friends and family. And like my neighbor, like those red lights you see on there is like my neighbor's PC, and it's really old, like 12 years old. And so people are like, hey, can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll help you. That's not a problem. And I start working on it, and I realize how spoiled I've become by the modern day conveniences of everything, And I'm like, oh man, it doesn't have an M.2 latch to hold it down, so I'm having to use my finger, and I'm having to use both hands instead of one. It doesn't have a built-in I/O shield. It doesn't have like, you just start noticing stuff like that. So me personally, I wouldn't want to cheap out on the motherboard, but yeah. But like realistically, if you're talking about safety and performance and everything, like your power supply, you need to make sure you're getting a good power supply, especially if you're buying a card that has a 12-volt high power connector, which is like the dumbest connector ever made. I don't know why. If you need that much wattage, why don't you just do the tried and true 8-pin connector and do 4 of them, and you can just double stack them, just 2 on the bottom, 2 up top if you want to make it clean, or just do 4 all the way across. NVIDIA, right? More lanes, more beta. Yes, I think you weren't here for the beginning. We went over some of the new Asus motherboards, and the Asus motherboards, the new ones that they just announced at CES, they have they reworked their entire lane sharing. So now you can have like 5 M.2s and not pull at all from your GPU, which is great. Whereas before that wasn't the case. So that's good. Let's see. I think some other people joined and I might have missed some stuff. Crap. I'm trying to scroll up in chat and I'm like clicking names and I'm like, oh my goodness, no, I don't want to ban. I don't want to ban. So how's being the experience with the 9070 XT? So far, so good. Let me go back up a little bit. I missed some chats. I apologize, guys. You guys are starting to light me up over here, but that's cool. I'm happy to talk and respond to everything I can. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. NVIDIA seems to be better buy to me because of the better image. Yeah, and I mean, look, DLSS is freaking incredible. DLSS 4.5, there is a trade-off there if you don't know. DLSS 4.5, quality-wise, looks absolutely next level. You're like, wow. That's a noticeable difference. The trade-off though is that you are like, let's say DLSS quality used to give you a 20% bump. I'm making up numbers. Let's say it used to give you a 20% bump. Now with the new model, because the image is so much better, it might only give you like a 15% bump. So you are losing the performance there, but you got to decide for yourself if that matters or not. But that's why you can go into the NVIDIA app and choose the model you want. Only 3%, but it made for people with existing stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think I would have been happier if, one, they actually showed it off on stage and acted like they cared about the 9850X3D. And then two, I really want the 9950X3D too, or whatever they're going to call it. I want that with both CCDs having the Vcache on it, because it would be great not to have to use Process Lasso. But I don't know if that would eliminate the need for Process Lasso. But see, that's the thing. I don't know until the product is out and I can test it. So anyway, the Process Lasso has been doing great for me, and I did a couple of videos on that. That's awesome. If you have a good AM4, 58 better, show it. 97. I'm running 5900 XT with it. Smooth gameplay. Yeah, AM4. Hey, we were just talking about that. AM4 is a great system, great choice. No problems there at all whatsoever. I can definitely recommend it. For me, it's the CPU. That's the problem. I scroll just a little bit and it jumps down like a page. Wow. Okay. For me, it's the CPU. I want games to run smooth, even if I have to play. You know, that's a great answer. That's a great answer, because that's something that, you know, my buddy Danny Z, he does a lot of CPU testing, and he talks a lot about, you know, frame time graph and 1% lows and stuff. And I mean, I do too on my channel, of course, but that's something that, like, I was watching his Battlefield 6 head-to-head video, like 285K, 14900K, and 9800X3D. And like the 9800X3D had the best averages overall by far, and the active frame rate was always way higher. But the 1% lows and 0.1% lows always went to the favor of Intel. And so that's something that makes me wonder. I'm like, okay, is that going to translate to actual gameplay? Like, if you turn off the frame rate counters and if you're just playing the game, and whenever you get that 1% low, you get that dip, obviously the higher the better, right? But if you're on Intel over AMD, is that something you're going to notice? And I don't think the answer is a definitive yes, because recently I've been turning off the frame rate counters and just getting locked in and playing the game. And I'm like, yeah, this is great, you know? But if there is a dip, I do notice it. Like, I can feel it. Yeah, let's see. When it comes to the power supply, I recommend choosing one that is half as powerful as you need due to the temperatures and noise. That's not a bad recommendation. Heard that. Yeah, the difference in motherboards is definitely interesting. Thanks. No problem. For motherboards, I think that really depends on what you want. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. It completely depends on what you want to hook up. Speaking from experience, I went on the end of, I don't need to hook up a lot of stuff. Oh man, I want to be a content creator. Oh man, now I need to hook up a lot of stuff. So like, it is definitely it's bit me in the butt before. So definitely do your research for sure before you buy a motherboard. Absolutely. Actually, on a quality PSU, I would also, yep. 5070 Ti is the only NVIDIA card I'd consider getting, but I switched to AMD after the 1080 Ti. I can't support the 12 volt. Yeah, and you know, the only thing that disappoints me is that some of the AMD partners, like the Sapphire one, that has the 12 volt high power connector, and unfortunately that also melted on somebody. But thankfully AMD's not forcing it on people, whereas NVIDIA is like, you got to use it, you know. And it's like, dude, this is like about to burn somebody's house down. NVIDIA, like, if your partners want to use an 8-pin connector, allow them to make that decision. Put the 12 volt over there on your freaking Founders Edition that nobody's going to have access to buy them, because you only make a limited supply of them. From my experience, I had more faulty motherboards and other components. Yeah, you know what? And I agree with you on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Motherboards definitely can go out, but you got to think about it. Motherboard is taking motherboard's taking a hit from everything. It has to, you know, I mean, it's like you're plugging everything into it. You know, it's having to handle your RAM, it's having to handle all your power supply connections, it's having to handle your GPU, it's having to handle your CPU, not to mention all your USB connections, all your fan connections. Yeah, it makes sense. It's under a lot of load. Absolutely. And that's another reason why I say don't cheap out on it, because ideally, the better quality you buy in a motherboard, the better it's going to last, or the better it's going to hold up, the longer it's going to last. I know all about DLSS better and DLA. Yep, absolutely. Although, to be fair, AMD FSR 4, finally, like, it's good. Like, FSR 4 is legitimately good. Like, it looks good. It runs well. It's not something that you turn on and instantly you're like, ugh, you know, like, it actually looks good. I can recommend AMD FSR 4, absolutely. I'm still rocking. Oh my, Tracy, you're killing me, dude. Oh wait, you actually got a 3060 12 gig. When did you get that? I don't think you told me about that, did you? When did you get the 3060 12 gigabyte? My boy, Taekwondo up in chat. Taekwondo has been in the videos all this week. I told him I'm gonna come up there and hug his cat. I might bring his cat home with me. And then he said, don't do that because he'll hit me. And I said, okay. But I told him I should film a video in his studio. That would be pretty funny. Let's see. I'm still rocking a regular GTX 1080. I have a 1070 Ti, 1080 Ti down there on the shelf over there. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. It's been dope chatting with all of you guys. Let's see. We can do this real quick. I can turn off the music one more time and do a little bit more news. Let's do over here. Oh, we can keep the music going if y'all want. Do this. Hang on. I will fix this for the next stream. My bad, guys. All right. What we got going on? What games do you play? I recommend Kingdom Deliverance 2. I've heard so many phenomenal things about Kingdom Deliverance 2. I haven't played it. Look, I'm trying to do YouTube, and YouTube I only do part-time, although this week I pretty much have done it full-time with all the content coming out. But I would love to go full-time on YouTube, but it's not happening yet. But what you have to understand is I work full-time, so I have a 40-hour-a-week job. Plus, I have a kid, a wife, a home to take care of, a dog, 2 cats, extracurricular activities. So it's actually amazing. I get as much content out as I do. But with that being said, there's not a lot of time for gaming. So I have one dedicated night per week minimum that I'm able to game guilt-free. And that's my limitation. That's not anybody else putting that on me. And so every Saturday night, I hop on with the boys and we play a different game or whatever. And I just go all in on Saturday nights. Like, Saturday nights are like my night to game and just cut loose. But right now, and I try to do like a single player game and then like a multiplayer game that I can play with friends. So like right now, single player wise, I'm actually going through Alice Madness Returns. I never played it, and I'm a sucker for the Xbox 360 era, and that was like on sale for the Steam sales. I'm like, let's play it. Multiplayer wise, I just recently got back into Call of Duty Cold War. If you like Call of Duty, and if you have problems with Call of Duty, what like most of us do now, I can honestly tell you, if you go back to Cold War, I think you will be pleasantly surprised. I'm 2 for 2 now, probably about to be 3 for 3 of recommending it to a couple of friends. And they were like, I don't know, Cold War isn't that old. And they hop on, they're like, dude, this feels amazing. I'm like, I know, I told you. And then you put in that Voldemort meme where it's like, from now on, you put your faith in me. So anyway, yeah, I can highly recommend Cold War. There's something about it. It just feels good and it hits right. Also, speaking of Call of Duty, what did you guys think about that Nero Cinema collaboration I did last year? Was that cool or was that kind of stupid? I don't know. Let me know. I thought it was pretty cool, but let me know what you guys think. Let's see. I told you about it, Ben. Yeah, you probably did. Dude, I'm so sorry, dude. I got so much on in my life right now. I forget a lot of stuff these days. My bad, bro. What are these little badges next to y'all's name? Number 1, number 2 is just like commenting, because I don't have channel memberships turned on yet, so y'all can't be getting that. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, Vortex. Sticking with my RX 6800. Dude, all right. You might not be in the PCs like I am, but if I were you, when you get done with that 6800, do not sell it. Keep it. It's like a collector's item, because I don't think they made that many of them. And the 6800 non-XT, pretty hard to find these days. So I would recommend keeping it personally. Man, the Taekwondo really hopped in here for like 2 seconds, and then I said all that stuff, and he's like, I'm out. No, I think he's editing a video, which is straight. It's all good. All right, let's see. What's going on? Kim Deliverance, GoldenEye. GoldenEye, Stopwatch, Smooth Song. Yep, it never gets old, dude. Never. RX 9070 XT, you were streaming. Yep. I am using the 9070 XT right now. Everything you see right now is being ran by the AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT. And if you want to know the specific model, is the Prime OC from Asus. Just got into playing the finals again. Nice, Derek. I noticed no invite. I'll keep that in mind. Let's see. Alice is a good game. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm totally messing with the vibe of it. The vibe is great. I'm loving it. I just started Tainted Grail. That is on my wish list. I haven't played it, but it is on my wish list. Yep, I've looked into it. It does look good. It's just, yeah. KD2 is good, but be prepared for a slow start, like Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, good to know. The collab was good. Thank you. I've been installing all my GOG games on my Bazite HTPC in the lounge, but I was back to playing Guild Wars 2 on my Mint. Gotcha. Real quick on that, I just want to say, guys, like, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm kind of like no Steam, no buy. Like, I like having all my games in one place, but real talk, like straight up, we got to give credit to GOG, guys, because they're doing the Lord's work. You know what I mean? They're taking really old, outdated games. They're doing a bunch of things. They're taking really old, outdated games that only ran on like Windows XP or Windows 7 that don't work on Windows 11, and they're giving them modern patches so you can play it on Windows 11. That's awesome. Game preservation. Number two, when you buy the game, you own the game. They're giving you the direct exe files with no DRM. I gotta like. You got to give credit for that, dude. As much as I love Steam and recommend Steam and everybody loves Steam, Steam doesn't even do that. So definitely got to give props there, right? I think who sends the most? Oh, who sends the most? Yeah, probably. Or who's been watching the longest time? I don't know. Lives have a leaderboard for engagement. Awesome. That sounds good. This is my first live stream, so I don't know anything. I got banned for supposedly cheating in Call of Duty. I never cheated. That's crazy. So I'm thinking about doing a Linux challenge, right? And one thing I don't want to give up is Call of Duty Cold War. So I'm like, I'll dual boot. And then I looked it up, and apparently Cold War can work on Linux, but also apparently some people were trying to run it on Linux and they got banned because they were on Linux, and Activision is detecting Linux OS as a virus or something like that, or some type of cheat. I don't know. So I'm like, oh, do I want to risk it? I don't know. I don't want to risk it. Let's see. Yeah, I noticed that. See from around anyone specifically. Got the gigabyte version, FY. Yeah, I noticed that. Don't see them around anymore. Oh, yeah. The 6800s, yeah, absolutely. Tainted Grail is awesome. Yeah, I've heard. I try to buy from GOG if it's available so I can. Yeah, absolutely. That's the way to do it, man. I sold my 6800 and got a 97. Funny thing is, I sold my 580 during the peak crypto crash. I bought X Mining 6800 price. Nice. Yep, GOG is DRM free. Yep, you gotta love it. I quit COD after it banned. I don't blame you. I'd probably quit too after that. Yeah, I'm trying 2026 to buy more GOG games. Awesome. ROG LIX, yep. Found the channel today from the Asus ROG Strix X870E gaming Wi-Fi video from a year back after my nightmare experience with MSI Tomahawk. I plan on getting nice. That's awesome. And I'm actually going to be working on some new Asus motherboard content this week. Not the motherboards we went over earlier in the stream. I need to contact Asus and let them know I definitely want one of these motherboards at least. Send it over, please, with an AIO so I can show it off on the channel. But I still need to cover the Hero. And I got 2 boards. I don't even know the name of it. They're down there. They're boxed up. I haven't unboxed them. They sent it to me like around Thanksgiving or a little sooner. And they're like, hey, you want to take a look? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a look. And I just got busy. I got really sick for 2 weeks. I couldn't talk. And anyway, so I'm just now starting to get caught back up. Oh wait, I quit COD after it banned. I just realized that was you, Derek. But still, yeah, I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. Found the channel. I'm happy you're here. Welcome to the channel. Love having you. Yeah, the subs have been crazy this week. I've been noticing my sub counters like going up a lot. I I was playing on Windows 11. Okay, gotcha. Can this GPU stream? That's what we're doing right now. You talking about 9070 XT? It can absolutely stream. We're streaming right now. And we got different scene changes and everything. Like if I go over here, we got a glowing border. We got movement in the background. We got music playing. I'm talking. I got the chat going. All of this is being ran on the 9070 XT AV1 encoder. So if you're happy with this, the answer is yes, it can. And if you're not happy with it, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. The MSI support person literally told me to return to board. And no. Wow. That's crazy. As far as the MP game goes, I stopped playing Call of Duty and Battlefield years ago. Nowadays, I strictly play Halo Infinite multiplayer. Hey, I love me some freaking Halo. And I'm a long-time Halo guy. Dude, I have beaten every Halo campaign multiple times. My wife and I have beaten every campaign together on Legendary co-op, except for Halo 5, because Halo 5, you had to have a second Xbox, and we didn't have one. So I beat Halo 5 solo Legendary. Got the achievement for it and everything. Is pretty happy about that. I'm happy. That's awesome. Oh, Jason's up in here. Can't stay, but I saw the notification and dropped a like. Have fun. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks, man. You rock. You as a person who doesn't stream, it looks excellent. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, I have a little bit of streaming experience from like 5 years ago because I used to stream on Twitch and I used to put a lot of work into it. But I was like, I want to focus on being an actual creator and making content and not just going live on Twitch where there's no discoverability at all. The beautiful thing about YouTube is I can make a video today. The guy in the chat, he just said I found the channel today from a video I made a year ago. I made that video a year ago and today it got me a new viewer. Think about that, right? So that Twitch doesn't have that. And that's what's amazing. That's what's amazing about YouTube, right? Love it. Absolutely love it. What camera are you using? The lighting looks good. I am using the Canon M200. So Canon M200. And basically I got it set to the K level, whatever it's called. It's set to 4500. And so I got two newer lights is what they're called. Left and right, 45-degree angle. They're set at 7% brightness with the 4500 on the Kelvin level. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. Had an MSI B450 carbon board. Died 2 months out of warranty. Dang, that sucks. Been salty with MSI ever since. See, you know what MSI should have been like? Hey, you're out of warranty. Let you know you're out of warranty and that they're doing you a favor, but then do you a favor and say, thank you for being a valuable customer. Here's a new board. Bro, take it from me, okay? I don't deserve as much as I've gotten, or maybe I do. I don't know. But the point is, I feel like motherboards are something that manufacturers just easily give out left and right, especially Asus. Like Asus arguably has the best boards in the industry. They've sent me a ton. They've sent some other creators a ton, some bigger than me, some smaller than me, some with the same quality, better quality, some with a lot worse quality. And I'm like, if Asus can afford to do that, MSI can totally afford, if you call in and say, hey, I'm 2 months out of warranty, but the board died, and be like, hey, thank you for being a valuable customer. Here's a new board. Shame on MSI for that. 9000 series, my first time with AMD card, and I have been loving it so far. Yeah, bought it back in September, Sapphire Nitro. Nice. So you got the one with the 12 volt high power connector, right? So far, no issues, I'm assuming. Hey man, thanks for reading the chat and questions. I'm out. Have a good night. No problem. You have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Good talking to you. It's great interacting with the community. Not a problem. Yeah, I won't ever be getting an MSI board again. I'll stick with Asus. Cool. Gigabyte higher end boards. They make some really good boards. I got some people in my Discord that love like the Gigabyte boards. I think every PC I built has always been an Asus. Gotcha. Cool stuff, Tracy. All right, real quick. Switch over here. Let's see. My 97 XT is a Prime. First Asus part I've bought in ages. Works well in Linux. Nice. And got it for a great price. Fantastic. I'm thinking about doing some Linux testing after this AMD testing. So we'll see what happens. I'm glad the stream's doing well. Good job, 9070 XT. Holding up well. All right, so NZXT 1500 watt, nice. I have been rocking the Gigabyte B450 motherboard for years, no issue, nice. So yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. NVIDIA DLSS 4.5 performance impact measured, right? So if I'm reading this right, so even on the 50 series cards, if you're using it, you're going to have a 5% performance reduction. By the way, that doesn't mean from native. I think that means like from what DLSS used to offer. So used to, you would go up. Now you still go up, but you don't go up as much. That's what I was talking to you about earlier. So 50 series minus 5%, 40 series minus 3.8, 30 series minus 11.5%, 11.5%, ouch. And then 20 series, 12.2%. Crazy. By the way, that 2080 Ti Founders, I got one. I just bought it. It's over there on the bench. Check this out. I just bought this. I got it off the used marketplace. 2080 Ti Founders. This thing is so clean. It's in excellent condition. I paid, he wanted $275. I talked him down to $250 for it. Super happy with it, man. I'm gonna do a build with it. Well, I'm gonna do a video on it on the channel, and then I want to do a build with it. And like, I don't know if you saw the video earlier this week talking about 2080 Ti 9900K. I want to get a 9900K to put in there, but I can't find a 9900K for a good price. So if one of you have a 9900K, you want to sell me for a fair price, let me know. But yeah, so the new model is really cool, but there is a performance hit, unfortunately. So, oh, they're using Hardware Unbox's charts. I didn't even realize Hardware Unbox did a video on it. I should have known that they would have. So yeah, right there. So native, like with a 5070, right? 106 on average. And then when you go to DLSS, like, so this is the old model. Typically you turn on DLSS quality mode. You would go from 106 and you jump up to 126. That makes sense. Now, if you turn on DLSS, the new mode, you go from 106 to 110. So you're still getting more performance than native, which is good. The image quality is better than native, which is good. But in that particular case, you're losing 16 FPS. That's kind of crazy, right? And then of course, like as you go down the stack, like 2080 Ti, so 68 jumps up to 77, and then you fall backwards to 60. So in the case of the 20 series cards, if you use the new model, you're actually losing, like straight losing performance. That's freaking wild. Same thing is true on the 3090 right here. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy, right? Preset K was already good enough for older GPUs. Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. Ironically enough, I've seen a lot of people complaining about MSI boards having issues lately online. So I got a guy in my Discord who basically has gone on a rant the last couple of months about MSI boards, because he did the same thing. And yeah, he did the same thing. And he bought an MSI board and it just did not go well for him. And so he's been on a rant about it. Anyway, speaking of which, trying to tell my Discord, hey, I'm live. I wonder how many people came by, if anybody came by. So I'm live. Come say hi. I don't know how much longer I'll be streaming, but I appreciate everybody being here. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, so there's that. And then, so yeah, basically the new model. But I mean, like if you look at some of the test results, right, with the new model, it actually does look really, really good. So like if I go over here to, let me go over here. Let's just do, let's see. No, what the heck? It's like freaking out. Digital Foundry DLSS 4.5. So like, if we watch this, like we're obviously not going to watch the whole thing, right? But I just want to show some of the examples. So like you can see right here, DLSS 4 versus DLSS 4.5, the amount, I mean, my head's in the way, hang on. So like you can see right there, there's a stark difference between it. Come on, get back to it. You can see there's a clear difference between, that's quite a bit of a difference. DLSS 4.5 has a lot more particles, a lot more particles. Why the heck did I say articles? My goodness. But it has a lot more particles. It's a lot more clean. I mean, it's definitely an image improvement. There's absolutely no doubt about it, but it's no doubt about it. But yeah, you're taking that performance hit all day long, right? I've seen enough Gamers Nexus content now to rationally stay away from yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hear you on that. I mean, you know, the one thing I'll say about GN is like, I appreciate everything he does, absolutely, but if you take everything he says at face value, there's no one to buy. Name a company he hasn't ripped on at least once, right? I mean, and I'm not taking shots because I'll be the next person he comes after and then I'll be canceled. But what I'm saying is like, I absolutely appreciate the pro-consumerism that he has. We need that. We need that. His investigative levels are better than probably anybody else out there. I'm not taking away from that. But if you take everything at face value, Asus is bad, MSI is bad, this is bad, that's bad, there's no one to buy. Who do you buy? So that's my genuine thought. But I do still like him and like his content. I just happened to see you pop up on my YouTube feed. I didn't get a notification. That sucks. Well, do you have notifications turned on for the channel though? See, that's why I went with MSI, is because I knew Asus had issues burning CPUs and stuff. Well, that was on the 7800X3D. And technically, I think even GN was able to replicate it on an Asus board and a Gigabyte board, so it was more of a BIOS issue, and they were able to patch it. And I don't think they had any issues with a 9800X3D, but ASRock did. DLSS 4.5 is certainly interesting, definitely worth checking out and doing. Yeah, absolutely. Danny, what's up? Welcome to the chat, bro. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Specular highlights and particle effects pop hard. Yeah, it definitely does. Facts. Yep, notifications are turned on. That's crazy. I have been using MSI brand for years and never had any issues. I'm currently using Tomahawk. Nice. Sorry to hear this. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, it's like this, right? Every company, I don't care who the company is, you will go through a time period of having issues. I mean, no company is always going to put out a perfect product. Every company, I mean, even Apple, love them or hate them, they have a great track record, but even they had things with their iPhones like bendgate. Y'all remember that? I think it was like the iPhone 6 or 6 Pro or some crap where you would sit on it and it would bend. I mean, every company at some point is going to put out a product that has problems. So with that being said, it's like, do you just completely discount the company whenever they put out one bad product, or do you just take a step back, buy the competitor, next generation, reevaluate, and if they get better, go back to them? I have a 9950X3D, so I don't want to take that. I don't blame you. Yeah, if I had to do a build now, it probably would be Gigabyte. I'm using ASRock now, who are having issues. Yeah, they seem to be having a lot of issues. But anyway, yeah, DLSS 4.5. We talked about that. The other thing we talked about earlier this stream, for people who are just getting here, like Taekwondo, Danny Z, we went over some of the new Asus motherboards, went over some of the new AIOs, the whole Q connector thing. I think that looks freaking awesome. I love the clean look. By the way, guys, I asked people how they felt about the content, and everybody in the chat are saying they're really enjoying the conversations we've been having. So yeah. By the way, guys, Danny Z and Taekwondo, they both do phenomenal content. You've never checked them out, I highly recommend you check them out. Danny Z has some of the most comprehensive CPU benchmarks out there. I highly recommend. And then Taekwondo is doing this new like boot or blue screen thing. Well, it's boot or blue or boot or blue. I forget. But the point is, he takes in people's PCs, kind of like that one down there that I'm working on, that I talked about earlier, and he tries to get them back up and running. I kind of wish he was here right now because he'd probably do a better job with that than I would. Had the terrible experience with Gigabyte from where this was. Yeah. All right, let's see. What's the next thing? All right. RTX 50 Super indefinitely delayed, canceled? ? First of all, like, I haven't read this. I just saw the headline, right? But the way I look at this, guys, right, is like, the way I look at it is like, even if they release the Super Series, who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it? You know what I mean? It took all year for GPUs to come down to MSRP. And then now that you can finally buy them for MSRP, they're starting to go back up, and there's rumors that they're going to go up by like 150% because we have the RAM shortage. And then I've seen articles where supposedly like NVIDIA is telling their partners, hey, we can't supply RAM for the GPU, so, you're going to have to get your own RAM for it. I mean, like, what kind of crap is that? So I'm not surprised by this announcement at all whatsoever. And even if they announced it, let's be honest, the only thing it would be a VRAM spec bump. So the 5080 would probably go from 16 gigs, which is something it never should have had. And they would probably bump it up to 20 or 24, which is something it should have had from day one. But I digress. My first motherboard many years ago was a Gigabyte, and that board took a beating and was missing a few capacitors. Wow. They make the product to break down as soon as possible. Yeah, that's true. They should 100% cancel the Super. Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I just don't see the reason for it. Key reasons behind the indefinite delay. Overseas demand for compute GPUs is surging, so more capacity is being reserved. The rise of memory-related products. I think we all knew that. The most important point, there is currently no news of any new generation AMD consumer GPU, so the current 50 series can remain competitive. So yeah, basically they're saying because AMD has decided not to make any announcements for new GPUs, NVIDIA is like, why would we waste our time? So I get that. And then I think the last thing I pulled up, AMD Redstone talk puts RDNA 3 support back on the table. AMD leaves the door open to FSR 4 like support on RDNA 3. Look, this is what I'm going to say to this, okay? Here's the way I feel about this. NVIDIA, for all of their faults, which there are many, you got to give them credit. They just rolled out DLSS 4.5. Let's talk about that for a second. They announced it pretty much the same day it becomes available in beta. You have to opt into it, but it's available. At the end of this month, it'll be live. And it's going all the way back to the 20 series cards. Meanwhile, AMD finally does FSR right by doing an AI upscaling model, and it looks great. It is leaps and bounds better than anything they've ever done with FSR 3. And now that they have it exclusive to the 9000 series cards. And I'm like, you got to find a way to roll that back, man, to the 7000, at least to the 7000 series cards, one generation back at least. You can't expect everybody to upgrade every time, right? I mean, GPUs are expensive, you know? So anyway, that was like the last like major like news thing that I had. Let me go back over here. We'll talk a little bit. Man, I just took a shower and like I've sweated so much while streaming that I'm like, dang it, I might have to go take another shower. Let's see. I think that's the most tech companies though planned. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bro, companies don't want you using their product for 5 years. They want you to use it, get your little dopamine hit, come crawling back. That's what they want. They want that recurring revenue model. That's what they want. And have you noticed that's pretty much what everything is these days? Like everything is a recurring subscription revenue model. How do we let's not worry about acquiring new customers. Let's worry about getting the same ones to come back and then come back again and come back again and come back again. Yeah, planned obsolescence, man. Pisses me off. Intel should have dropped the B770. I agree. That would have been great. The VRAM issues has cooked the market. Yep, it has. They also restored PhysX 32. Yeah, that's true. They never should have taken it away, but that's true. They are bringing it back for the headlines I've seen are the most popular games that use it. So like I know Batman Arkham's on the table to use it, for example. So that is good. I'm glad they brought that back. That is phenomenal. That is truly phenomenal. So yeah, are there any other questions? Anything you guys want to talk about? 9070. Hello. How's it going? Welcome in. We've just been going over tech news and talking about the 9070 XT and just people asking me questions in general. So yeah, absolutely. You are more than welcome to ask me whatever you want. There is a version of the FSR 4 which can use all the way back to 6000, 5000. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. That's good to know. You force it to work for everything, it seems. Yep. To extend the life of your graphics card, I recommend replacing the thermal pads. Yeah, that's pretty good. That 2080 this 2080 Ti that I bought recently off the Facebook Marketplace. So the card itself is in immaculate condition, right? But I took it apart to repaste it. Oh my goodness, guys. The paste was like rock hard and the pads were falling apart. So I had to repad it and all that other stuff. So yeah, the GoldenEye video, which was a 1 hour loop, has gone out. Do y'all want more GoldenEye, or is there a recommendation for another song I can put on? It has to be something music, not words. Or I can just replay it, or we can be in silence. Let's see. What does video cards have any other stories to talk about now? Asus finally puts Ryzen AI Max. That's not interesting to me. Let's see. Gunner presents Tiny Arc Pro B580. It's cool. Let's see. My man cave has a 7900 XT and a 9070 XT. One hooked to a monitor, the other to LG. Dude, for the longest time, my monitor was an LG CX OLED TV, 42 inches, 120 hertz. I loved it. It was amazing. And now I have it over there on the wall as like a secondary gaming setup. And now after I went from that OLED, I went and got me like an Asus OLED monitor from Micro Center. And OLED, like I love it. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. How do I know what thermal pads I need? Got old 3080 Ti that could use it. There's breakdown videos on the, like all over YouTube. I know Gamers Nexus does a lot of breakdown videos, for example. So you could do a breakdown video, or you could watch one of the breakdown videos and you can see exactly what kind of pads are on there. But also, I'm not really sure if the type of pad matters as much. What, in my experience, replacing pads is mostly like you just have to cut the pad to the right length and width to fit in the spot. Which, I mean, you just measure it and cut it and put it on there. So, let's see. What are you saying? You said break beat or big bets music. Okay. I got what I consider a very good deal on my 9950X 3D. It was $535. Dude, that was a great deal, bro. Heck yeah. Let me see. I don't know about this break beat or big bets music. Never heard of that. Let me see if I can find it. Or if you got a link, drop it in chat. I can just click it. That'll be faster probably. Oh, there we go. Best tracks of breakbeat. Oh, here's one I think is, I don't know. I have no idea if this is good or not. I'm taking you at your word. It's a little upbeat. There's something playing. Yeah, dude, that's a great deal. I paid close to like MSRP for my 9950X 3D. I think I did pay MSRP. I think I paid like $650 for it. It's a good, it's a great CPU. I just really hate how like I'm grateful I was able to discover the solution with Process Lasso. But I also hate that I had to go through all that, By the way, like, what are you doing with the 9950X 3D? Are you using the Process Lasso solution I talked about on the channel in my videos? Or are you just using the AMD default method with like the balanced performance profile and all that stuff? Like, what are you doing? I'm curious. Did the chat die on me? I'm not seeing anybody in the chat now. Let me see what's going on. Did the stream die? No, it says we're still up. Anyway. Well, I don't really have too much other tech news planned. I was just really talking to you guys and kicking out. Oh, I'm still here. Okay, cool. Let's see. I have a confession to say here. I have never played a single Half-Life game. Is it too late to start? I've been a PC gamer since the dawn of Crisis. I've never played through them all the way. I've played parts of them, but I've never completed them. And no, it is not too late to start. Still here. Dope. I hope you stream more, by the way. This is great. Rooting for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I do plan on streaming more. This was just a quick stream that I put together. Eventually, I'll have a lot more animations going on. I'll have alerts. So like if people subscribe during the stream, it'll pop up. If people start donating, which I'm not asking for, but if people start hitting the super chat button or something, that'll pop up. I'm getting ready to open channel memberships here pretty soon. Oh, that reminds me. Oh man, that reminds me. You guys want to see something cool? Tracy, I was supposed to send you this and I'm sorry. I didn't send it. I haven't had the chance to really use it yet because of the issues I mentioned earlier, but I plan to do content creation rendering and I do modding for nice. Yeah, 9070 XT, it took me a minute, but I was finally able to get it to render really well. Like all the videos this week on the channel have been rendered with the 9070 XT and I think the quality is really good. And I did it with DaVinci Resolve. I'm in Australia. I got my 7800X 3D from the AliExpress. Nice. That's not bad. From AliExpress too, and they came through. That's awesome. I get it's overkill, but all the bad news going on with PC market, I wanted an overkill. Hey, I don't blame you. I am a lover of the Alan Wake games. Yeah, those are quite popular. play Half-Life 2 or Black Mesa. Yep. Can you play games and stream or record without issue? Play games. Well, with the 9070 XT, I need to try that. I can test that. I'll put it in my video. So, you know, I'm doing the 30-day challenge, so there's going to be a big video at the end. So I did this, and here's what happened. I did this, and here's what happened. All that stuff. So I will add that in there. Holy crap. Here we go. $10. Ha. Tracy. Oh, my goodness, man. Dude, see, you always do that, right? You always do that. Always. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it, man. See, it would be really cool if there was like an alert going on right now that was like, boo, boo, boo. So I just didn't have time to set that up. And the main purpose of this stream was to see if the 9070 XT could handle the stream. I expected issues. Now that there's not issues and it's running fine, I'm like, what do I do? I'm just kind of doing everything on the fly with like the tech news and talking to you guys and stuff. So glad it's going well, though. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Tracy, man, you've been one of the biggest supporters for the longest time, dude. I love you to death, man. You're awesome, dude. Thank you so much. What software do you use to stream? I'm currently using OBS. I use OBS to stream and to make all of my YouTube videos in terms of recording, and for editing, I use DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is the paid version. And I use DaVinci Resolve because it's not a recurring subscription model. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. And then after that, you have access forever. Yes, single PC. Yep. I will test that. Hey, I will test that for you. I will test that for you, and that will be in the video. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Put on the notifications for the 9070 XT Final Verdict video. I'm still working on the title. It's not going to be called Final Verdict. Maybe it should be called Final Verdict. I'll think about it. But that will be in the video. Don't worry about it. Okay. Let's see. I also got a 64-bit kit. Yep. Nice. Right before the price. Dude, look. I bought a kit of RAM in September, $199 at Micro Center. That same kit today, that same kit is $450, dude. Crazy. Always here to support you. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much, man. Looking clean on my 4K TV. What? You got me in 4K? E-Rock's in 4K. What? Okay. Paired with a Western Digital Black Gen 5 4 terabyte. Nice. 4 terabytes where it's at. Yes. Seeing how bad the PC market is right now. Been seeing a lot of doom and gloom. Lots of doom and gloom. And unfortunately, so here's the thing with the doom and gloom, guys. So look, I'm tired of seeing it as well. On one hand, though, it's like, okay, creators, if they're doing like tech news and stuff, they can only talk about what's happening. And if bad stuff is happening, then they're only going to talk about the bad stuff. But then also the viewer side of the equation is they're clicking on the videos and watching it. So it's like when I made that all AMD PC video a couple weeks ago, that completely bombed, by the way, like that video failed hard. I was taken aback by that. I'm like, wait a minute. This is like a positive video that I'm doing. There's nothing negative here. I'm repurposing old content. I'm giving it to an older couple who has no way of playing games. And they're just trying to play one game, and I'm helping them out. And it's an AM4 system, and it's all AMD. There's so much positivity in that. And I bought a 3D printer and did custom stuff, and nobody watched it. Meanwhile, though, I put out a video right after that, or right around that, talking about, you know, almost like my 5090 blowing up the power supply, which was a negative video. Boom, blew up, 12,000 views in like a day or whatever. And I'm like, so it's one of those things. It's like, we all say we're tired of doom and gloom. We're tired of negative content. We want more positive content. But then, like, I make positive content and like nobody watches it. So I don't, or to be fair, maybe YouTube doesn't push it, because I got people in the chat right now telling me, hey, YouTube didn't notify me of this stream. And I'm like, well, you know what I mean? So I don't know what to believe anymore, guys. I'm just going to make the content the best I can, you know, and hopefully you guys see it and show up and enjoy it, you know? Let's see. Thank you. Sounds good. Don't debate the long GPU prices. Okay. Yeah. I bought a hard drive for my server for 216 terabyte. Goodness gracious. 16 terabytes. That's crazy. The next day went back to buy more. That's the most Tracy thing I've ever heard in my life. I was like, how did it go up that much in one day? Yeah. Last AMD card I had was a 7900 XTX and refunded that for a 4090. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. 7900 XTX when it first came out, wasn't a big fan of it. Today, it's come a long way. It's gotten a lot better, but still 4090s. Yeah, that I can't fault you for that one. Let's see. Look at my old DDR4. I got 2 sticks left of DDR4 in the closet that I'm holding on to. I'm probably going to put it in this 2080 Ti build with a 9900K once I buy it. Once I find a 9900K to buy. Love AM4. AM4 is the platform that just keeps on giving, man. You know what I mean? I have about 200 terabytes of space. That is insane. I need more. Oh, for what? More for what? Are you trying to download the entire like entertainment on the planet? Like, don't do it, E-Rock. Don't do what? Don't do what? Don't do what? What did I say I was gonna do? I think it's a thumbnail thing also. Got that clickbait, buddy. Get that clickbait, buddy. YouTube pushes that. Oh yeah. Even from the pod. Yeah, that's true. So this week I'm pretty happy with the thumbnails. I've been going a little bit harder on the thumbnails and make like the thumbnail for this video or the live stream. I think that went pretty good. Which is also a very similar thumbnail to what I put on the 9070 XT challenge update video. It's a very similar thumbnail. I just changed the words around, and that video was the best performing video of this week. So it works. But hard drive prices are crazy. Yeah, they are. Yeah, storage and RAM right now are just crazy. I have 2 kits of DDR4. One of those kits just sitting around barely. Yep. All right, real quick. I just caught up on chat, and before I forget, keep the chats coming in though. I'm loving talking to you guys. I'm gonna show you guys something. I still need to make like a dedicated video and do like world premiere. Oh, you gotta be kidding me right now. Windows is doing that stupid thing where it's like USB device not recognized. Like you better recognize. Oh, that was my Corsair thing. Oh crap, that went out. My bad, guys. That was on me. That one messed up. That messed up. That was my bad. That's on me. That's on E-Rock. Why is my controller not connecting? This is pissing me off. This is pissing me off. Hopefully that will connect. I want to show you guys something. I still need to do the actual video and do the world premiere. But when channel memberships go live, here's the goal. I got a couple of Patreon members here. So look, here's the deal. All right. I got a Patreon. I'm planning on shutting it down, and I'm going to replace it with YouTube channel memberships. And basically, everybody who's a current Patreon member can just switch over to YouTube and actually get a discount and save money every month, because I'm only going to have 2 tiers and they're going to be much cheaper. And because I've always felt bad for like Patreon, I went really hard at first and was trying to offer a lot of stuff, and I just couldn't keep up with it. And then people just kept supporting me, which I'm so grateful for. You guys are freaking incredible. But I also feel bad because I'm not really honoring my part of the deal. And YouTube puts like a one-stop shop and puts everything in place. So here's what we're going to do. When channel memberships go live, there's only going to be 2 tiers. One is going to be Discord access, and one's going to be Discord access and all the stuff involved in it, right? Which, like early access to videos, member highlight comments and all that stuff. And the second tier is going to have all that plus the eArcade application, which none of you know what that is. So I'm going to pause the music real quick. I want to show you something. I have spent the last, on and off last 2 years working on this. Let's see. Let me switch over here real quick. Let's see. Switch over here. Oh yeah, I need to do, it's not gonna. Really? Okay, I'll switch back over here. Really? I'm still working out the kinks on the stream, as I told you guys. Let's see if I can get this popping real quick to show you guys. Come on. Register. Come on, OBS, pick it up. So I want to show you guys something. So let's see. Now that I'm over here, I'm going to open that. Pull this back up. We'll try this one more time. I apologize. Streaming, window capture. There it is. Oh, are you not going to pick it up, OBS? Oh, OBS is being hella stupid right now. Okay, let me try this. It's the first time I'm showing it off. Please don't mess it up. Really? Oh, there we go. Oh, really? Really, you're doing the thing? OBS is being hella stupid right now, guys. OBS cannot handle. It does not do a good job with like HDR and colors and all that. All right, this is not what I wanted to show you guys. This is hella washed out and super embarrassing. Imagine if this had a lot better colors, but the window capture thing is being super stupid and not working right now. This is an app I've been working on, and basically it's a console UI application. Warning, the stream something. Stream probably got flagged for something stupid. Anyway, this is an app I've been working on, and it is a console UI application. It connects to your, you can use mouse and keyboard with it. You can also use an Xbox controller. Guys, I know it looks like crap. That's OBS. That's not my app. My app looks very beautiful. But basically, you can use an Xbox controller with it, and you can also, let's see, put this up top. No, that's not what I want. Basically, you can use an Xbox controller with it. It connects to your Steam library, and it's meant to be like a console user interface for PC gamers. So if you wanted to connect a PC, a Windows PC, and not use Steam Big Picture in your living room, this would be it. And it's got achievement support. It's got custom music and everything. I know this looks like crap and this is not what I wanted to show you guys, but yeah, OBS is being hella stupid right now. But anyway, that's the general idea of it. It's a console user interface for PC gamers. It is done 1.0. It looks a lot better than what you're seeing here. I promise you, this is super washed out, and it's got custom music, custom artwork, custom everything. There's a Halloween theme. There's a Christmas theme, and I'm going to go live with it pretty soon. And I'm kind of glad I did show it to you guys, because now I know that OBS can't record this properly. So I need to figure out a way to show this off. The people in the Discord who have used it, they know it. No, trust me, this looks like dog crap. Like, I'm looking at it on my phone. What you guys are seeing right now is freaking garbage. But anyway, but the point is, it connects to your Steam library. It pulls in your games. You can look at your achievements, your playtime, game information, all that stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to like, coming from a console background, I really wanted a way to where if I wanted to sit on a couch and connect my PC to a TV, I could have that console feeling. It's not perfect. There's limitations there, and that's because we're using the Steam API, and the Steam API limits you on what you're doing. Like, the Steam API sucks for friends support. It has virtually no friends support, right? So I can't really add anything related to friends. Eventually, I want to go back and rebuild this and maybe do something closer to the Xbox 360 Blaze dashboard, find a way to add in friend support and stuff. But this was like a rough concept that I got off the ground. I started working on it about 2 years ago, and I've gone through a couple of different developers. I've even written some code myself for it. The entire design is completely mine. I own all the assets. I paid for everything. I hired artists. I hired musicians, everything for it. You can't really hear it too well right now. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think the music's coming through too good. But when I make my actual video on it and we go live, what I'll probably do is I'm going to make a video talking about this app and launch channel memberships, and then we'll go live that night just like we're doing right now. Anyway, that's enough of that. A little bit disappointed with that, if I'm being honest with you guys. I expected that to be a little bit better than that, but anyway, it is what it is. Now we can go back to the other music. All right, we're back. All right, I'm going to catch up on chat because I didn't read chat for like the last 2 minutes. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Let's see. What's the last thing I saw? LOL. Let's see. 200 terabytes of space. I need more. Yeah, I saw that, but LOL. Okay. I have 2 kits of DDR4. Blackheart, is it download? Yep. I have 4 kits of DDR5. That's right. Throw that on your wrist to flex. 4K. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys were just talking. Okay, cool. I didn't miss too much. I literally just bought the 9070 XT 30 minutes ago. How's it going? It's going good. It's going good. Everything you see on the stream is being rendered right now. AV1 encoder, 9070 XT. I think what are we about? Halfway through the 30-day challenge? I've lost count at this point. Yeah, I've lost count. But so far, so good, man. It's not a disaster by any means. I haven't had any driver issues. I haven't had any blue screens or anything. So, yeah. Hey, the one thing I'll say, when you said you just bought the 9070 XT 30 minutes ago, when you go home, do a DDU, display driver uninstaller. just make sure, or you know, reinstall Windows, or make sure if you keep the same Windows installation, you do, when you go to DDU, select the option that says all GPUs, and just any remnants of previously existing drivers, yank that out of there before you install the new drivers. That's mega important. Let's see, Vortex, and then coming down, Windows has done that with Red Dragon keyboards also, so I bought Logitech. Gotcha. Let's see. When I upgrade to 7800X3, I gave my 7500. Yeah, that's cool. Looks good on my 4K TV. Awesome. Looks fine to me. Looks good. I really like it. Glad you guys like it. This would be really for PC handhelds. Looks great. I wanted to upgrade my CPU. Yeah, I'm glad you guys think it looks great. Yeah, whenever I didn't get to give the presentation the way I wanted to because I was so thrown off by how bad it looked. No, like you're all saying it looks fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I promise you, when you see the actual colors, you're going to be like, wow, this thing looks amazing. The app has a Christmas theme with special music and artwork and animation. It has a Halloween theme with special artwork and music and animation. And then, of course, there was that default Game Shop theme. Yeah, so, I mean, and the support on it is going to completely depend on how many people are interested. If people sign up and start using the app and have feature requests, I'll keep investing in it. And if no, pretty much I put it out there and nobody says anything, crickets, then I'll just stop investing in the application. I've already sent the app to a couple of people privately. One person in the Patreon list, the Discord list, loves it and has given me tons of feedback. The other people I've sent it to are like, yeah, that's cool. And I never heard back from them. So I'm like, well, maybe I wasted my money on the app, but we'll see what happens when it goes live. But thank you guys so much for the positive feedback. That's incredibly awesome. My PC is connected to a 4K 65-inch, 120 hertz QD OLED TV. I use a Logitech wireless keyboard with touchpad to navigate the screen, and Xbox G7 Pro controller to play my... Nice, that's awesome. Wanted to upgrade my CPU from a 5700X to a 7800X 3D, but I'm not buying it. You can't right now. Although I will say, Micro Center was losing so much money from not being able to... So Micro Center couldn't offer their bundles anymore because of the RAM prices, and they started losing a lot of money and a lot of foot traffic. So they found a way to bring back the bundles. Now they have bundles with 1 stick of RAM. It's embarrassing and pathetic, but they do. But they also still have bundles with 2 sticks of RAM, and it is still cheaper than, you know, if you went out and like picked your own RAM, like nice RAM. This is like RAM to get you up and going. What they're offering at Micro Center right now is just that bundle crap that, hey, it's better than nothing, you know? So anyway, I haven't streamed with the AV1 encoder yet. Last time was with my 7900 GRE and CPU encoder. Have to check it out with my 9070. Dude, I'm using the AV1 encoder right now on this stream. What do you think? Does it look okay? Does it sound okay? I think it does. Other people says it does. So yeah, this is what you can expect. Just make sure you get your settings right in OBS, and I will feature all of this in my final video on it. And I'll share all the settings and everything. Yeah. So, and every video on the channel this week has been recorded and rendered with the 9070 XT AV1 encoder. My Micro Center just restocked all of them. Nice. 7800X3D bundle is better value than a used 5800X3D in my opinion. Yeah, probably. I mean, 5800X3Ds are like super rare and super expensive right now. My wife's PC back there. Let me see. The blue top. It's a Mario themed PC. There's a video on the channel from a couple of years ago on it. I just upgraded her to a 5800X3D in that PC. I'm not going to lie. I had it in the closet, kind of forgot about it. And my buddy was over here looking and he's like, dude, you got a 5800X3D here. I'm like, yeah, I do. I should use that. So I put it in my wife's PC. Nearest Micro Center to me is 3 states away, but Best Buy is 50 miles away. That's crazy. Where do you live? I'm excited for the new Steam controller. I am too, actually. I think it looks great. My RAM, 64 gigabyte, cost in May 196 pounds. Now, yeah, I believe it. I was just saying earlier. So my RAM, I paid $200 for it in September. Today it's like $450, but that's for 2 sticks at 32 gigs, and I bought 4 sticks for 64 gigs. So $450, $900. Oh snap! $5, dude. Thank you so much. Hey, full confession here. I never know how to pronounce your name. Villain 9974. Thank you so much. You have signed up to be a Patreon member. You are always commenting on my community posts. You're always commenting on my videos, and now you donated. You're freaking awesome. Thank you so much. Incredible. Mrs. Erox in the chat. Mario PC is yeah, yes it is. I think it looks great with AV1. I stopped because my old way looked blurry with the 7900 GR. So here's what I've come to realize, right? Here's what I've come to realize with the with AMD. And I mean, technically this is true with any GPU, but let's keep it 100 here. NVIDIA is a little bit more plug and play. NVENC, you're done, you know? With AMD, you really have to take the time to actually play with the settings. And I hate to say this, guys, but Googling it and going to Reddit and grabbing some random settings don't work. And the reason why is because the support for NVIDIA is so much greater. If you start Googling, I have this issue with my AMD GPU, so many solutions that come up are for NVIDIA GPUs. So unfortunately, this is the way you have to do it. You have to start playing with the settings yourself, get a baseline, go to ChatGPT or Gemini, take a screenshot of your settings. This is exactly what I did. Send it to ChatGPT and say, this is what I'm using. This is what I'm trying to do. Here are my settings and here are my results. I'm not happy with it. It will come back and tell you, this is wrong, that's wrong, change this or that. I fixed it. ChatGPT is what helped me get the DaVinci Resolve working, because I tried DaVinci Resolve 4 times with 4 different presets that I found in YouTube videos, that I found on Reddit. None of them worked. Every video kept coming out with like desynced audio. But I shared my settings with ChatGPT. It said, oh, you got this click, but you need to do this. Oh, you did that, but you need to do this. I changed it all, and it was very obscure stuff. And videos came out perfect after that. I was like, holy hell, AI actually works. Well, at least that did for me. Let's see. Washington State nearest Micro Center is California. Dang, that's crazy. Although Washington State is gorgeous, and I really want to visit there. I really, 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 really want to visit there. I'm going to start streaming soon as I purchased a webcam. What webcam did you get? What platform do you suggest? Twitch, YouTube, or Rumble? I'm eyeing on Rumble. I actually had a Rumble representative contact me. This was months ago. And they said, hey, you know, we're trying to get more creators on the platform and try to make it more than just politics stuff. Would you be interested? And I said, I'll consider it. And I started looking into it. And like right from the start, creating the profile and uploading the profile picture, nothing worked. It kept like, you know, you would think like a basic circular profile you could just upload. It just wasn't registering properly. So I just never got around to it. I used to do Twitch. And what I was saying earlier, the problem with Twitch is there's no discoverability. If you want to grow as a creator, you need a platform where people can find you. And that's why YouTube is great, because when you're live, not a lot of people will find you. You can get 1 or 2 here or there, kind of like what we got tonight, but you're not going to get the thousands, right? You have to make content. Even if you don't want to make content the way that I make content, where you sit down, you do a script, you do a video, you do a thumbnail, what you could do is you could go live and just live stream and do whatever you're doing live. And then afterwards, go back and edit the live stream. That is your content. And then take that live stream and turn it into, you know, whatever. I'm recording the video and audio to this completely separately. So all this music right now won't even be in the recording if I don't want it to be. And then I can take everything we've done tonight and I can make videos out of it and put it up on the channel. And I might do it. And even if I don't do it after tonight's stream, I will do it in future streams, because eventually in the future, I want to get all of your chats. I want to get them going across the screen so that I can clip it and get your feedback. So when we talk about tech news, hey guys, NVIDIA just announced ABCD. And I'm like, what do you guys think about that? You can tell me. You can tell me, hey, this is what I think, yada, yada, yada. I get your feedback in real time, and then your comments will be featured in the video, and then my response will be featured in the video. And then like we'll just be making big community-based content off the live streams. How cool is that, right? But that's my recommendation. So in short, I recommend YouTube. Long-winded answer to a very simple question. I recommend YouTube. Yes, I use ChatGPT for undervolting and PBO setting when I did my CPU and GPU. Excellent. And did that work out okay for you? Missed a couple. I'm going to start. Yeah, okay. I confirm what you say. Choose NVIDIA, less problems, and better image. If you do decide to do the Linux 30-day challenge, I think Bazlight will get you the most YouTube content. Possibly, right? Yeah, it's a good way to get in without... That's true. The problem with Bazite, right, is that it is gamer focused, and I do play games, but I also do things outside of gaming, right? So how good is Bazite when I'm not gaming? That's a question, right? And I don't know, and I'm not pretending to know because I'm not a Linux guy, but that's what we're going to find out. In the words of Kevin Hart, you going to learn today. All right, love my 9070 XT. Had it since it released. XFX Mercury Magnetic OC Air Edition and white, paired with the 9800X3D 64 gigabyte DDR5. Nice. You got it going on. That's a good setup. Now is $900. That is insane. $300 to $900. Wow. Let's see. Also, it's the villain. Okay, got it. Okay. YouTube hates my name. Also, I can't stay for so long and see it. Okay, no worries. Have a good night. Thank you so much. I have 1 billion here's outside my place and family of... Okay. Nice. You said raccoons? You got a lot of raccoons? Thanks, I'll give it a try with AV1. Highly recommend it. I love to go back to Washington. My grandfather took there. I remember you always telling us that. I remember that. Yeah, we do need to go to Washington. I'm sitting on 5700X 3D. Nice. No idea what to do with it as I have a 7800. You can build a second system. Use the second system for something around the house. Give it to a friend or family member. Or you could sell it. Or keep it for collector's purposes. Yeah, it did really well. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Maybe a good video about how you get the 9070 XT up with streaming might be worth it. I can do that. I can totally do that. I will milk as much 9070 XT content as I can because it's in my system. I've already converted over to it for the next 30 days. Or now, like, next 15 days or whatever, so might as well. Absolutely. Maybe a good video. Yeah, I just read that. Heat dumping in the room went away. Okay, nice. Do the Linux 30-day challenge. You're overdue for a change with PC. You say that, but you don't know what you're asking for. Have you ever been to Europe? Technically, yes, but no, not really. I've been to Japan. I've been to Iceland, which is technically European, but not really, no. I do want to go to Europe. So my son is 6. He turns 7 next week. When he's like 9 or 10, we'll probably do like what I like to do. If my wife is still listening, what I like to do is I like to take like a month off, like 4 weeks, and just like travel through Europe. Get the Euro pass, hop on the train, hit a couple of different countries, and just really do it. I think that would be amazing. But I need my son to be older where he can handle the flight and all that stuff. Chat moving too fast, but totally understand on the DDU advice for my 9070 XT. Me going live and having somebody say your chat's moving too fast is not something I ever thought I would say. That was not on my bingo card. I'm moving from the B650 11600F to 30. Nice. Okay. All right. Cool. That's going to be an upgrade. That will definitely be an upgrade. Yes, bye. Let's go. Yeah, we'll do it. The Flash Pack system, aka Windows Store, for Linux takes most of the finding things Steam Bazite ecosystem. If you're installing Linux, okay, use Mint. See, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about Mint. I've seen a lot of good things about Mint online. I've also seen Nabora, not Fedora, but Nabora, which is an offshoot, I think, of Fedora. I've seen that announced a lot too. I've seen people talk about that a lot too. Welcome to Poland. You will feel safe. I see what you did there. Well, yes, I would love to go to Poland. I actually work with a guy from Poland. I work with a couple of people from Poland, actually. Nice people. Very nice people. Hey, there's Old School Gamer. You finally made it in here. You went from, man, I'm so excited for your stream to being like almost 2 hours late. Where were you, bro? Catchy OS, Nabora are more power user without going full neck beard arch. Got it. I thought for sure I missed it. No, you didn't miss it. Mint. Oh yeah, my wife loves Mint, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's saying. Fedora is better with more professional things like content. Okay, that's good to know. I use Catchy OS and my 97 XT has been good. Good, awesome. What's up, fella? What's up? How's it going? How you doing? Yeah, Yeah, so the most common distros that I've seen, Linux Mint, Bazzite, Catchy OS, and I know for a while Pop OS, and then Nabora. Those are like the 5 that I keep seeing recurring over and over and over for people recommending. I'm on Bazzite right now and going to play some Alan Wake 2 soon. Nice. Got busy with other things. You're good, man. You know I just like busting your chops, right? And YouTube didn't notify me like it was supposed to. Did you hit the bell? Did you hit the bell? Say notify me? Nah, I'm glad you're here, dude. And I just like busting your chops. You probably drink vodka with a. I haven't had the opportunity yet, but I definitely would if I could. I'm watching this on Bazzite. Nice, that's awesome. Is Bazzite treating the stream well? Let's see. Waiting my PC case to get here so I can do my 9800. Nice. I have a 9950X3D, 9900X3D, or sorry, no I don't. 9950X3D, 9800X3D, all the 50 series and 9000 series GPU reviews I did in 2025, every one of those were benchmarked with a 9800X3D. Great CPU. I'm just a little disappointed with the 9850X3D. I just don't really see the point personally. Catchy OS is what I was trying to do last week, and so what happened? You didn't get it up and going, or what happened? Did you have issues installing it? So, okay, is anybody here using Linux with an NVIDIA GPU? Anybody? And if so, like, does it work? Because I keep seeing conflicting information, right? I've always been told NVIDIA drivers suck on Linux. And then I was told, well, hey, Linux actually NVIDIA decided to offer their some of their drivers open source now, or at least one of them, or something that was usable. And then people said that NVIDIA is now usable on Linux. And then I've seen benchmarks where NVIDIA is still better than AMD, even on Linux, in productivity applications. I've seen some of that stuff floating around online. I do not know what is true and what is not true. There's a lot I don't know when it comes to Linux, and so I definitely need your help. Yes, I did notify me. Waited for it while doing other things. Then boom, 10 p.m. No problem, dude. I just like messing with you. I never had a problem watching anything on Linux, not even YouTube TV. Fantastic. No, I didn't know. All good, man. Would I need to do a small undervolt from the get-go? No, I don't think so. I use the 4070 Ti Catchy OS. Excellent. And it works well for you? Like, any issues? Like, do you have to go manually hunt down the drivers, or is it just does Catchy OS just know, hey, you have an NVIDIA GPU, you need this driver? Also, speaking of drivers, do you get other driver updates? And do you have access to things like the NVIDIA app, control panel, DLSS? Like, can you use DLSS, frame generation? Like, these are things I just don't know legitimately. Like, I just don't know. Any AM4 or 5 CPUs, I would definitely recommend undervolt. Yeah, when you were asking about do a small undervolt, is that on the CPU? Oh yeah, on the 9800X3D. Yeah, so look, here's my go-to advice, guys. So if you have an AMD Ryzen CPU, I always recommend you need to do a curve optimizer, or yes, an undervolt is another way of looking at it. You want to go into your motherboard settings. You want to find PBO. You want to change it to advanced. And then under advanced, for thermal limits, I typically set it to the motherboard. And then after that, you can go down to curve optimizer. For curve optimizer, I usually do a negative all-core offset. What do you need to use? Comes down to Silicon Lottery and how good your CPU is. Start small, work your way up. Start with a negative 10. Go back into your operating system, run some stress tests, see if it fails. If it doesn't fail after the stress test, go back into the BIOS, take that negative 10, bump it up to a negative 20, and then a negative 30, and just keep going until you hit a failure. In most cases, you're not going to be able to go past negative 30. Now, if you want to be super technical about it, they actually have a per core negative offset that you can apply. And the real diehard people are like, you need to do per core. And I get that. I've done a per core before. You're talking about hours and hours and hours of testing to dial that in properly. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. So I just do an all core. Other than the folder file management, Bazzite has been okay. I'm using an AMD 5700 APU. but installing a 9060 XT 16 gigabyte ASRock Steel Legend. Nice, that's awesome. I have a 9060 XT over there in my small form factor PC that I'm supposed to put into the living room. Catchy OS has the NVIDIA 590.XX in the kernel. Okay. And is that not true for all Linux distros, or it just depends? Yeah, on the 9800X3D. Well, yeah, that's my recommendation. Definitely undervolted or do the curve optimizer. Negative all core offset. Start small, do some stress tests, work your way up. Ultimately, what curve optimizer does is it lets your CPU run colder, and then because it runs colder, it can clock higher. And so, like, I think 9800X3D, no, that's not true. 9800X3D, you should be able to get to like 5,300 megahertz with it. 7800X3D will cap out at 5050 unless you have one of those special Asus boards that can like manually overclock it higher, but the performance gains are negligible. I use a -10 to be safe. That works, absolutely. I don't like that OS cause it catchy everything. Sorry, dad joke. No problem. Are you a dad? You got a kid? My 5700X3D does well at -25 all core. Nice. I just about every AM4 and AM5 CPU I've had, I typically get a -20 pretty directly. Yeah, I think my 9950X3D, I think I'm running -20 right now. -20 or -25, I forget. Can I do both or just curve optimizer? What do you mean do both or just curve optimizer? When you do curve optimizer, you have to set an offset, either positive or negative. Like you have to make a decision. There is no on or off with curve optimizer. Like if you choose curve optimizer, you have to apply an offset, either positive or negative. It will default to 0 and you can leave it at 0, but that's not going to do you anything. No, Catchy OS has a more modern driver. Yep, I have 8 kids. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, what's that situation like with the PC? Like, do you have a PC and you're trying to build all of them on the PC, or are they like? I'm genuinely curious. 8 kids. Wow. Are you guys Mormon or Catholic or something? Like, that's a lot of kids. But hey, I love it. That's fantastic. I love kids. Never had an AM4 not be able to run a stable -25. All right, cool. OMG. Fairy play, mate. Fairy play. I don't know what that means. So, yep, 8. Curve opt is your over or under volt AM4. Yep, just labeled differently. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm definitely interested in trying out Linux. So, one thing I discovered about Linux last night, actually, because I was looking into dual booting, right, is you can have a custom bootloader, right? So, like, I think what that means is, like, when you load in and your drive has 2 OSs on it, it'll ask you which one you want to boot into, right? You can customize that and literally make it look like Cyberpunk, Fallout with a Pip-Boy, all the things, which is crazy. That's super crazy to me. So, yeah, that's pretty fantastic. So, yeah. And when people dual boot in Linux, like, do you put both OSs on the same drive, or do you have like one drive for Linux and one drive for Windows? And in both cases, can you still use a bootloader? Like, there's just so much I don't know. So much I don't know, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I was only supposed to stream for 1 hour, and here I am, 8 to 9 is 2 hours and 12 minutes later. Since Fox told me about Secure Boot, I'm going to try to get it going tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, dude, Fox is loving Linux right now, dude. Absolutely loving it. Which is fantastic. Windows 11 hates dual booting on the same hardware as Linux, so use a separate SSD. Good to know. Good to know. I actually saw a post yesterday where somebody was complaining about Linux, or sorry, Windows, not Linux. They were trying to do a dual boot, and even though the Linux drive was a primary drive, the Windows drive basically acted like a virus and said, bump that, Linux out the way, we're booting. And he was like, Windows is a virus, guys. Which is crazy. So yeah, good to know. I'll just do a separate drive. Thank you. Okay, so my second question is, if I have 2 drives, right? One Linux, one Windows. will it just boot into Linux automatically every time, or will I get that bootloader, or can I get the bootloader each time? Because I like the idea of each time I boot my PC, just getting the bootloader and, you know, customizing it, making a theme out of it. That would be super fun. Well, that's good to know. Let's see. I like one drive for Windows and one for Linux. Less bad things happen. That makes sense. Yo, E-Rock. It's your boy, Patrick Bateman. Hey, what's up? Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you here. That's awesome. First live stream, just testing out how the live stream works and testing out the 9070 XT. So far, so good. Finally undervolted my 9800X 3D. Much overdue. Nice. There's another person in the chat who was just asking about that undervolting. Would you mind sharing your settings in the chat? Let them know, like, what are you running? Obviously, you're doing Curve Optimizer, right? So what are your settings like? Negative all core, negative 15, negative 20. What are they? That's up to the BIOS. Yep. Oh, I got Elk up in here. What's up, dude? Whoa, this cutie patootie is like, yeah, first time, man. It's like the whole Discord's finally just now getting the notification or something. You will get that bootloader, then decide when. Excellent. I love it. Because then I'm going to. What's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for hanging out and being supported for so long. I mean, you, like, even when, like, I haven't seen you, like, chat for a while, like, you just, you know, you show up, you still support, you drop comments, you're still a Patreon member. Dude, thank you. Freaking incredible, Elk. I appreciate you, man. Let's see. I don't dual boot. I just run 2PC because I tinker too much on Linux. My old PC runs it. I got you. Yeah, there's so much. I go back and forth with my whole setup and like what I want to do. And I'm not really sure what I want to do, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, probably for simplicity's sake right now, I probably would just dual boot and have a dedicated drive for each. But I could totally see a world where I like have a Windows PC for like certain activities and then a Linux PC for everything else. Right now, what I kind of want to do is like have my setup here for editing and video production and all of that. And then I want like a separate B-roll section for whenever I put motherboards and CPUs and GPUs under the camera. And then outside of all that, just have a second, maybe lower spec gaming PC that's good enough to get by on games, but not as like heavy duty. I don't know what I want. I love my PC setup and my PC gaming, of course, absolutely. It's just sometimes, and we talked about this in one of the videos this week. Sometimes I just get tired of sitting in an office chair. You know what I mean? I don't do. Yeah. Let's see. Just watched Danny Z reviews on undervolting. I didn't end up power limiting, but I'm running a Gigabyte B850 Horus Ice. I went to Curve Optimizer all core negative 20. I need to figure out the different conversions. Gotcha. The negative 20 is pretty good, man. You could probably bump it to negative 25, but negative 20 is good. You're talking diminishing returns at that point. Of course, man, been busy with stuff. This year's tech stuff has honestly been, yeah, I agree. It's been very bland. I guess this year I see maybe Intel making more moves and Linux gaming even more. Yep, absolutely. As Danny Z does it, and the MSI was different values. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yep. When you do your Linux experience, are you doing it as NVIDIA, AMD, both? Or great question. So I would like to do it as NVIDIA, just, you know, go balls to the wall, make it as hard as I can, right? But I also know that AMD is the way to go with Linux. But then there was somebody else in the chat earlier saying that they had a 4070 Super, and Catchy OS works totally fine for their use case with NVIDIA. So I don't know, man. I get so much conflicting information from things online. I may start with NVIDIA, and if I hate it before I blame Linux, I may just switch to AMD. I mean, I got all the cards sitting around me, so it's nothing to just pop one out and pop another one in. Basically going I've been thinking of putting SteamOS on my ROG Ally X. Okay, cool. That would be interesting. I'm basically going to unplug my current Win 11 SSD and install Linux CatchOS on its own SSD. I'm just backing up all my current files before going Linux. Nice. Backing up is important. Always back up your files, boys. I have a 4500, 5700 XT, 30 GB. I am building for older games. Hey, you know, older games, I swear, dude, older games is where it's at. Like, I'm a huge Batman Arkham fan. Are there any Batman Arkham fans in the chat? I freaking love the Batman Arkham series, and I beat at least one of those games like every year. I just love it. But the beautiful part about it is, like, I find those games today in 2026, they still look good. They have aged well. There's good mod support on Windows for it, or sorry, on PC for it. And they're immersive. They're still immersive. They're fun. You have the original voice acting cast for the Batman animated series. I just love the games, and that's something where it's like, yeah, I could go back. Like, that's an older game, but still have a fresh, new, great experience. Batman Arkham City was the first game I played and completed on my Steam Deck, so I freaking love the older games. Absolutely. Battlefield 6 by far is the game that runs the hottest. Yep, it'll do it. Absolutely, that makes sense. I have an H9 Flow with a 360 Kraken Elite, and it was consistently in the mid-70s. Yep. So that's the real reason for undervolt. Nope, that makes sense. Absolutely. And your numbers, all that makes complete sense. Absolutely. And yes, Battlefield 6 will absolutely hammer the CPU. Idle is still around 41. 41 is not terrible, but little on the higher side, I think. No, 41 is right. I can't remember if I'm 28 or 38. I forget. Remind me in the Discord later to check, and I'll let you know, bro. Christian Bale for me all day, every day. Oh, dude, I love Christian Bale as like the live action Batman. But when we're talking about Arkham, like that's the video game Batman, right? And I think Kevin Conroy, like in terms of just like no face, no body, just voice, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Vortex, I don't know what you posted. It just said message restricted. I have no idea what the limitations are right now, bro. Real question is Christian Bale Batman or Robert those two, Christian Bale, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. Choose the GNOME desktop. Also, you will get a lot of people telling you KDE Plasma, but GNOME is the most stable. Good to know. See, I got so much research to do, guys. There's just so much. Batman games are on GOG. Yes, they are, and I bought every one of them there. I own those Batman games on almost every platform I have. I have them on like Xbox One, Xbox One X, PC, Steam, and GOG. I freaking love those games. I will forever support them, and just so they will remake them and then do sequels. I want more. Less Suicide Squad, more Batman. Played the first two recently on my Ally and Night on my main desktop at 1440p. Night is such a gorgeous game. Night is such a gorgeous game. Oh yeah, I deleted it. No worries. Okay, cool. No problem. On my side, it just said message restricted. That's all it said. So I didn't know if you deleted it or what happened. My undervolt, dude. Whoever recommended this playlist, this freaking slaps. Thank you. My undervolt settings on 9800X3D is PBO advanced. Yep. PBO limits the motherboard. Correct. CPU boost clock override. Yes, I do that as well. Thermal throttle limit 90C. Okay. And curve optimizer to all cores -20. Nice. Chef's kiss, my friend. Excellent. Awesome. That's good stuff. No, that's good stuff. That is good stuff, guys. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm So believe it or not, you know what I want? Like I want Intel to make a comeback. Like we need something in the space, man. So I bought this 2080 Ti I was telling you guys about earlier. I want to go back and do like an in-game 2019 build and get a 9900K. The only thing that holds me back from that is I kind of want the 10900K because I keep getting told that the 10900K is like the most snappy CPU out there, and I want to try it for myself. But then it won't be the end build. You know, first world problems. But yeah, obviously the 11,000 series, was a little bit of a joke, and it got destroyed by reviewers. 12th gen was good. They introduced D-cores. Windows didn't really do it right at first. Took a while to catch on. Then they got it right. And then 13th and 14th gen had all the latency issues, CPU degradation issues, Unreal Engine 5 issues, So, and then they came out with 285K, which was a performance regression. And I'm like, no, like, let's make it good again. All right. Love GOG, and GOG is great on Linux. Just use the Heroic launcher for GOG and Epic Games. Heroic launcher. Okay, good to know. But yeah, Night at 1440p is so beautiful. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous, man. once I get my hands on 40 series, and I'll probably go back and start working on older games for better graphics. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I saw a setup the other day. It was a his and her setup. I guess husband and wife. And it was basically a couch, and the couch was against the wall. And you had like the wife on one end, the husband on the other. And they had PCs on each side of the couch, like full gaming PCs. And they had these monitor arms, but it was like a custom arm or like a heavy duty arm. It was bolted to the wall behind them, and they could pull it out, and it would imagine I'm sitting on the couch. There's a wall right here. I grab it and I pull the monitor arm, and just around me I just have a big gigantic screen that's plugged to a PC behind me, and they're just kicked up on the couch playing games. I'm like, that looks so freaking awesome. Haven't told my wife about it yet, but I may want to do something like that eventually at our house. Did you end up getting the 10900K? No, I didn't. I have not made a definitive decision. I think I'm going to lean toward 9900K, especially because Taekwondo is hooking me up with a special edition box, so it'd be cool to pair that together. But I really would like to get a 10900K. The problem is they're all about the same price right now. 10900K, 10850K, 9900K, they all sell for about the same price on eBay, which I'm like, you know, like these CPUs are old. Like I'm looking to pay like $100, $120. I'm not looking to pay 200, 220. This is crazy, guys. This computer has a 12900KS. I love it. Hey, like I said, 12900K. It was a good series. Dude, that 129, not the KS, but the 12900K, I saw that 2025. At one point, I saw that for like, dude, I saw that for like $200 or $250. It was a hell of a deal, dude. It was a great deal at one point. Absolutely. I've had 5800X3D, 9800X3D, 9950X3D. Me too. Actually, I have all three of those right now in the studio. I would really like to try the 14900K. Been there and done that. 285K. I have one of those. For the apparently better smoothness at 4. Yeah, for the apparent better smoothness. Yeah. All right. My story real quick on who here has seen my video whenever I switched to Intel and had all the latency issues, and then that's when I got to talk to Tech Yes City for the first time, and he responded to me and gave me a shout out on his channel. Anybody seen that? My Discord basically made that video into its GIF where it has me taking the CPU box and throwing it in the trash can and pulling up the 7800X3D box. Okay, so my experience was I did everything I could do with AM5. And I'm like, well, I need some more content. I want to try some other stuff. And of course, you know, when you listen to Intel bros, it's always the same thing. You know, Intel's so much better, Intel's so much smoother, 1% loads, et cetera, right? So I went balls deep. Like I went all in, and I ended up buying a 14700K and a 14900K. I didn't buy them at the same time. I just went 14700K, and then something happened later on. I think Asus was sending me like a board, and it was like a Mac Daddy board, like big. And I'm like, oh man, I got to test this with 14900K. So I went and bought a 14900K. Both of those CPUs, and I guess because I got them both from Micro Center, they came in the same batch or something. Both of those CPUs had the latency issues, CPU degradation. And I tried, and in my video, you can see my mouse stuttering across the screen. And I'm like, this is my first real experience with Intel. And I've seen all these videos talking about smooth this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can't even move my mouse without stuttering. And I understand now, like, what that was, right? You know, and it didn't happen to everybody. Like Danny Z, you know, he'll be the first one to tell you that he's had none of those issues. Taekwondo did have those issues, and then he had the latest BIOS update, and that corrected the issue. So I guess if I would have held on to it long enough, I would have, you know, still been using it today probably. But I was like, I don't have time to hang around for this, so I sold both of them, and I was honest with everybody. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. It's probably going to be fixed with the BIOS update. Dude, I had tons of DMs in my inbox on Facebook Marketplace. People did not care. They were like, I want Intel. I want Intel. I want Intel. I'm like, all right, there you go. You can have it. And they all bought it, gave me, you know, a 5-star review. They were happy with it. And then I just took the money and went and bought AMD again and been on AMD ever since. Let's see. Oh, snap. I recognize Steven. I've seen him several times in the on comment section. Let's see. I feel an Intel coming this coming years. The This CES, they actually showed a new product for consumers. That's interesting. Although currently I can only see them being used for laptops. Yeah, currently they're just focusing on mobile chips, but we do need a desktop chip. Absolutely. Really good RAM is basically impossible to buy. Absolutely. And buying something that destroys itself as stock seems to, yes, absolutely. And the 12900K will push the 9700 XT100. Yep, it definitely will. No bottleneck. Absolutely. Definitely. DLSS 4.5 was AMD's nail in the coffin. They already had nothing to over the NVIDIA offerings. I have the 5800 X3D as well, but I have the 5070 Ti. Love the 5070 Ti. Highly recommend it. My first CPU was a 12900K in 2022 from my very first PC build. I was a console guy my whole life. I was too, yeah. Hi, Rock. Hello. How you doing? Welcome in. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I am still trying to optimize my 9950 X3D, but I will probably switch back to the 9800 X3D since I am really unhappy with my 1% lows. Let me read that one more time. Sorry. I am still trying to optimize my 9950 X3D, but I will probably switch back. Let me ask you something. Did you watch my video on Process Lasso with the 9950 X3D? Have you watched it and have you applied the settings that I showed in that video? Try just about everything. Last chance is static OC. If you haven't tried my video, please try that. I've had one person say it didn't help them, and then I've had about 5 people tell me that it helped them drastically. It does come down to the game that you're using and how you're testing it, etc. Sorry, I'm looking over here. This is where my chat's at. I'm convinced Intel fanboys are in a cult. I had a colleague try to convince me to only buy Intel and get 14700K, 14900K because it uses less power, heat, and AMD. Yeah, I mean, it's not just Intel. I mean, every product has a fanboy. You got Asus fanboy, you got Asus haters, you got AMD fanboys, you got AMD haters, Intel fanboys, and AMD haters. Some are just more vocal than others, which is really sad because we're all supposed to be mature, grown men excited for tech, and instead we want to fight about stupid crap. First Intel I've bought is the 10700F. That's in my wife's build. Nice. Burned down with a 9800 X3D. Yeah, have been sticking with AMD for about 10 years, and now at first it was price, now it's just better performance. Yeah, for the longest time, AMD was the value proposition, right? They were the value-based king. In the video earlier this week, me, Taekwondo, Danny Z, we did that 2080 Ti video, and the 9900K and Ryzen 3000 video is actually what's all in the title. But the core title is before AI ruined hardware, basically. But if you listen long enough and watch long enough in that video, I do talk about the Ryzen 3000 series, and I do give it its props because that's where that value proposition was coming in. Around that time, all the tech reviewers were like, hey, 9900K, top of the line, king of the hill for gaming, but AMD is the value king. And so from that point forward, everybody's like, buy AMD, you got to get Ryzen 3000. 2019, that was a good time, guys. And a lot of people mistook that video. 2080 Ti, not that great. It was really the 1080 Ti. We know, trust me, we know. It was more about the time period and less about the hardware. And it just happened that I had bought this card around that time, and we were talking about it. And I'm like, since that was such a key part of the discussion, and that's kind of where the time period fell, I'll put that in the title. Let's see. 9800. Let's see. Yep. I have a 9800 X3D with a 4080 and a second PC with 7800 X3D and a 9070 XT. AMD has a lot less CPU overhead in games. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my AMD CPUs. I have quite a few of them. Yep, I have followed that guide, and it works sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. I got you. Yeah, well, it's the best I got, man. I'm definitely not 100% satisfied with the CPU because of the reasons you're talking about. It's the dual CCDs, the chiplet design, and I'm like, I'm ready for that not to be a thing. I just wish AMD would go to 12. Oh, one more thing on that guide. I have discovered after I made that video, there are some games where it is actually better not to apply the change. Most games, if you apply the 1-15 change, you will see a performance increase. Most games. There are some games where that 1 to 15 causes stutter. And then on that specific game, you have to go in and disable the 1 to 15 and just say 0-31. And then it will run better. I actually had that happen to me. But I discovered that after I made the video, so FYI. So if you haven't tried that yet, go in and try to make that one specific game you're having trouble with. Try to make that 0-31 instead of 1-15, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just thinking, yep, okay. I just wish AMD would go up to a 12. Yep. 8 isn't enough. I agree. AMD, and I'm going to put Intel on blast here too, okay? And let me explain. So I'm tired of 8 cores being so prevalent. You know, back in 2018, back in 2019, you got an 8-core CPU. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. This is amazing. You got it, you know? But today it's like 8 cores should be the minimum, not the middle. You know, the minimum is still 6 cores, and I'm like, 6 cores are dead, bro. Like, get that off as an option. Make 8 core the minimum, and pull in something like a 10 or 12 core as the middle now, and then, you know, keep going up from there. Because see, a lot of people will point out, well, you know, if you go Intel, you get these 24 cores, but it's like you're only getting 8 performance cores. The rest of the cores are E cores, and I'm not saying E cores don't count or anything. They obviously do, but you're not going to be able to use those cores, you know, the same way you're going to use the performance cores, right? So that's just my take on it. But still, I mean, yeah, it is technically 24 cores. AMD, what sucks about them right now is that if you don't want to worry about core parking, the highest you can get is 8 cores. So 9800X3D, 9850X3D now. If you want more than 8 cores, you have to account for core parking. There's no way around it. And that's just something I don't like. You could technically go back and get the 7950X, I think. Not the X3D, but just the 7950X. And you could have more than 8 cores without core parking. But the performance on that chip was just not, it's not as good as what we have right now. Yep, I have, let's see, where are we at? I don't need the 16 cores anyway. I just got the CPU in a bundle really cheap, so I can just resell it. Wait, what? Yep, I follow. Just wish AMD would go to 12 more. Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about the 9950X3D. Got it. Okay. I have 2 computers in this room. One with a 12900KS and the other a 14700K. I'm that weird person that don't care about the brand. If it works, then I'll use it. Yeah. Nothing weird about that. Yeah, 12 core CCD with 3D cache would make me instantly buy it. Oh, dude, for sure. Absolutely. I'm losing my place in chat. Sorry. Yep, there we go. I have friends who are still very happy with their R5 3600s. Fantastic. And so much about being happy with your hardware completely depends on what games you're playing and what settings you're using. 1080p versus 4K versus 1440, ultra graphics versus low. I mean, just all those things, right? I learned from a small YouTuber that is not the RAM. That is not that RAM is bad. The issue is that most are buying RAM over 1.4 volt. If you want a stable, smooth system, get RAM at a 1.35 volt. The more voltage, the hotter RAM. Well, definitely the more voltage, the hotter RAM. Yeah, definitely. That's how that works. Yep. No, that's not weird. Just yeah. 30, yep. You have a PS5 too, right? Oh crap! I lost that comment. Where'd it go? Oh, you have a PS5 too, right? You talking about me? I do. How do you decide when to play? You're not gonna like my answer on that. When you want to play, I do have a PS5. So, dude, my PS5. Here's a true story. I bought the PS5 and it was in the middle of the shortage and everything, and I was lucky to be able to get one. I got it at MSRP. And I was like, I'm going to play Spider-Man on this thing. I'm going to play God of War on this thing. And then we're going to use it as a Blu-ray drive because we still have some physical media. I bought Spider-Man. Couldn't really get a good deal. I paid basically full price for it. And it was the bundle with like Miles Morales. I bought it. I had it for maybe 2 weeks, started playing it. And then they announced Spider-Man for PC. And of course, God of War came out for PC. And I'm like, screw this. I'm like, I'm not investing any more into it. I'm just going to play the stuff on PC. So outside of a couple of games that my son has played on it, we mostly don't use it, and it mostly gets used as a Blu-ray player. And believe it or not, we actually do use it quite a bit for a Blu-ray player. If the 9850X3D is not very expensive, I might buy it after selling the 9950X3D just for fun to see it. I do have a board with, yeah, if you have a board with E-Clock, you'll be able to push it a little further for sure. And if you're absolutely set on getting rid of the 9950X 3D, you should be able to just do a 1-to-1 transfer. You might even, yeah, you should be able to do a 1-to-1 transfer. Absolutely. It is necessary to mention the optimizations of games that are poorly optimized. Yep, that's a big factor. Unfortunately, there are a ton of games these days that are just poorly optimized. Don't buy a 7900 XTX. Every person I know that has it regrets it, especially since AMD is probably not releasing. If you're going to buy an AMD card right now, 9070 XT is the main one I recommend. 9070 is a good one too because, as explained earlier in the chat, you can overclock it or even flash the BIOS and get very, very close to the same performance as a 9070 XT. But yeah, at this point, if you're going to go AMD, I just recommend going 9000 series. It's not worth chancing it with the older stuff, especially with the news that came out late last year about AMD not supporting older cards. And they're like, no, we are going to support it. What? And then everything just became confusing, right? I agree. I only game, watch YouTube, and surf online. Yeah. Yes, he does have a Discord. I do. Yeah, but you have to be a Patreon member right now. But pretty soon that's going to roll over into... YouTube channel membership. So it won't be too much longer. I'll be shutting down Patreon and getting everybody to convert over to YouTube channel membership. So technically, if you really want to join the Discord, you can do it right now for $1. Link is in every single one of my videos. You can just click the Patreon link, sign up for $1. I'll send you access to the Discord. But yeah, YouTube channel memberships will be coming soon. It is, yeah. I think I got everything. Devil's Advocate. Sorry, I start speaking weird after talking for so long. Gaming wise, most games won't use more than 8 cores. That's true. That is true. Most games. There are some that do. Yeah, I played around with that. Not every game is the same, but you were right. The most games do profit from not using Core Zero. Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's what buying high-end hardware makes you realize. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. Very true. Yes, the 8 cores with 3D cache is more important. Oh, yeah. My 7900 XT is the tough gaming, and that thing is big. It also never goes above 55C. Dude, so this 9070 XT that I'm using to stream right now is the Primo C from Asus. When I'm gaming, it never goes above 58C. This thing like caps out at like 58C, and that's with the OC profile out of the box. I'm hella impressed with this card. Like, if I was not a content creator, and if I was really budget conscious and I just wanted the best bang for my buck, and everybody told me to get a 9070 XT, I can honestly tell you now after streaming tonight, there's not really much that this card can't do. You know, I mean, it's not a 5090, right? Obviously, and obviously FSR is not as good as like DLSS, but FSR 4 is really freaking good. And this 9070 XT is something that I can highly recommend, dude. I mean, the games I've been playing on it, I've ran totally fine, buttery smooth. I haven't had any driver issues, no blue screens, no problems. And I don't know about you guys, I'm hella impressed with the stream tonight. I was not expecting this. I was expecting to go live for 1 hour, maybe have 5 or 6 people show up, probably have a couple of stuttering issues that I would have to resolve, go offline, and then mention it in my video. I was not expecting to stream with you guys for over 2 hours, have a great time talking. At one point, I think we almost peaked at like 40 people watching, which is freaking crazy. And I spent most of it just reading chat, talking to you guys. But I'm super grateful. Thank you guys so much. Y'all are all absolutely incredible. I might go for another 19 minutes tops, and then I need to call it because it's getting late. Will forever be a physical... Dude, listen. Okay. Physical media. All right, here's my thing, right? 2025, I kind of went through this thing where I was getting... I was really starting to be like, okay, how are we going to own stuff? And that's why earlier in the chat I was talking about GOG, because if you buy your stuff from GOG... Yeah, it might be digital, but you own the games. And the beautiful part about it is that there are ways that you can take the games on PC and make your own physical media with it. Like you can burn things to a disc, you can put it on a flash drive, you can get creative and do cartridges. And I went down a rabbit hole in 2025 watching YouTube videos where people did these projects where they were making physical media for PC in 2025. it was cumbersome. It was super niche. It's not really something you can get a lot of people on board with, but it was really cool to see. They did their own art, fan art boxes and everything with it. It was really cool, man. So all of that's fantastic, but it is a scary thought to think that, I go back and forth on it, because on one hand, it is a scary thought to think that even Steam's own policies have been updated to tell you that you're basically leasing the game. You're leasing a license. At any given point in time, they can go in your library and yank that game out due to a licensing issue. That's a scary thought. You could pay $60, $70, $80 for a game and one day no longer have it. That is a scary thought. On the flip side of that, though, there are so many games out there to choose from. Chances are, most people how many people buy games and never play them? They just sit in the backlog. How many people start games and never finish them? How many people play a game through one time, they finish it, and they never go back again? So you're also like, okay, really, how big of an issue is it? But I'm a principle guy. I'm more of, it's the principle of the matter. Even if I never go back and never play the game ever again, I paid you for it. That's my motherfucking game. You're not going to take it out of my library. So it's definitely something that I'm kind of like, I miss physical media. I do. I love physical media. And, when you're streaming everything, like, GeForce Now, NVIDIA just put out this whole announcement about, NVIDIA put out this whole announcement about, you can only game for 100 hours a month. Well, I'm probably not going to hit 100 hours personally, but there are a ton of people who play way more than 100 hours a month. I mean, and you're going to just say, hey, tough luck, Buttercup, you can't game now? So, I don't know, man. But I'm not really a big fan of streaming services with gaming anyway. 99% of people don't need a 5090. Oh, 1,000%. Absolutely. Like I said before, my go-to recommendation for most people, 5070 Ti. Exceptions to every rule, though. Just not having FSR4 plus subpar ray tracing. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, AMD absolutely needs to figure out a way to get FSR4 on the older cards. 1,000%. At least the 7000 series. Are you a huge Blu-ray guy too? If I buy physical media, which it's been a minute since I've bought anything new, but back when I was buying it, yeah, I did as much Blu-ray as humanly possible. It took me forever to convince my wife that there was a difference between Blu-ray and DVD. And then finally she just gave in. She's like, whatever, buy whatever you want. I'm like, thank you. So yeah, I love Blu-ray. Absolutely. And 4K Blu-rays, absolutely. Let's see. For the... Oh, crap. Somebody dropped something. $10 from Ray Fisher. Dude, that's so freaking cool of you, man. Wow. Thank you so much. Massive shout out to Ray Fisher. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Holy crap. You're awesome. Thank you. Wow. I'm humbled. That's incredible. Thank you so much. I don't even have anything set up right now with alerts or anything or channel memberships. I just went live to test the GPU. So wow, the fact that 3 people have donated, seriously guys, I'm humbled. Here I am thinking I'm falling off because YouTube algorithm's not pushing the videos as much, and all of you showed up tonight and showed support. I can't say thank you enough. Seriously, you guys are absolutely incredible. Really. Thank you so much. It's funny though, AMD doesn't release FSR4 on older cards because it runs bad equals people mad correctly. NVIDIA releases DLSS 4 for, yes, I was mentioning that earlier. I don't know if you were here for that part, but yes, I was talking about that earlier about NVIDIA. With all of their faults, you have to give them credit because with their, they will at least go back. Like the 2080 Ti that I just showed off a while ago, that has DLSS 4.5 now. That's crazy. Runs bad on old cards equal people mad. That's true too. We did talk about that. Yeah. Sorry, I've been away, had a meeting. Oh, you're good, man. No worries. Not a fan of physical at all. Interesting. I have digital forever, old, and even if I still own CDs, I have nothing to install them with these days. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, digital is hella convenient. So we buy most of our Switch games and Switch 2 games physically, most of them. There's a couple that we got digitally, but most of them we buy physical. And I kid you not, every time I sit down thinking the cartridge is in there, the game that I want to play, and I realize it's not in there and I have to get up off the couch and go switch the cartridge, every time, without question, I go, every time I get up and I say that, every single time. So, yeah, I mean, digital definitely has a convenience with it. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. I have about 4,000 movies. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of movies. Wow. Now I got to go tell my team some bad news. Oh, crap. Somebody getting fired. Hey, $10 over 5 years of saving is $600. Much more prefer to put that into a new GPU instead of streaming. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a big streaming service fan. I've actually had companies contact me about like some indie companies who were trying to get streaming services off the ground. I say indie loosely, but just companies you wouldn't have heard of. And they're like, hey, we're trying to get our streaming platform off the ground. Would you like to check it out? And most of the time I say no, because I'm not a fan of streaming the game. I'm like, if you're going to play the game, like play it on hardware. And then when you buy into streaming, you're limited to doing things like what NVIDIA is doing to people right now. And I just don't support that. Yeah, I joined late. Oh, no worries, bro. All good, man. Not all RTX 2000 series don't have DLSS. Not all, really. So what doesn't have it? Because I don't know. Like, please let me know what I'm missing. But my understanding was the announcement was DLSS 4.5 would be supported from 50 all the way down to 20 series. And that includes the 2060. I think Daniel Owen tested DLSS 4.5 with the 2060. Thanks to everything, having a subscription service, piracy has gone up. That's very true. And to be honest, I support it. Subscription used to be convenient now. Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing. Isn't that what they say now? Talking about the upscaling part. Gotcha. I agree on Switch games, but mostly because of the size limits. 2000 series has DLSS 4, just the upscaling part. Okay. Okay. So you're saying the upscaling part doesn't work on 2000 series? Is that what you're saying? Like it doesn't work well? Well, I mean, I know there's a performance degradation. Like I know that. Like we were looking at hardware unboxing earlier. Oh, here we go again. Tracy, man, you got to stop, dude. You already do know. One more for the road. Keep up the great work. Always glad to support you. Thank you so much, Tracy. Oh my goodness, Ray Fisher again. Wow. Okay, guys, it's getting a little out of hand over here. This is from me and Frog Boy. Bro was talking. What does it say? Hang on, let me get that down. Bro was talking on the phone with him testing DLSS 4.5. I joined because of him. Oh, nice. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Dude, yeah, Frog Boy invited me to do the interview collab thing, and I did it. So thank you for joining, and thank you for your support. That's so freaking awesome of you. Wow, thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you for the second too, man. Thank you so much, guys. Wow, I don't remember if you've talked about it yet. What's your thoughts about the dual? Oh my goodness. You want to know my thoughts on the dual 12-volt high-power connector? Double the chance of a melting adapter. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know what goes through these companies' heads. I really don't. You literally have a community constantly complaining about these adapters melting their GPUs. Like there's almost a new story every week, it seems like. And your idea as a company is, let's crank it up to 600 watts and put 2 of them on there. What? Like that's not the solution we need right now. I mean, thankfully it's a GPU that like no one's gonna be able to buy or afford. It's probably gonna be like $4,000. So there'll be like 2 people in the world that buy it. But yeah, that's double the chances. Seriously, guys, I'm so humbled by all the support tonight. This is insane. I don't remember if you've talked. Oh yeah, I did that. All the reviews I see, ray tracing and FSR is perfectly fine on the 9000. It's fine. It is fine. It is fine. There's nothing wrong. So let's break that apart. FSR 4 ray tracing. Okay. FSR 4 is awesome. It is by far the best version of FSR that AMD has ever had. And it does rival DLSS, especially like the DLSS 3.5, close to 3.4 model, or close to the DLSS 4 model. Now with the DLSS 4.5 model, that image quality is better. But now you're nitpicking, right? You're now getting into the territory of, okay, do I really want to favor image or do I want to favor FPS, right? But, dude, I got nothing bad to say about FSR 4 except for the fact that it's not supported on the 7000 series cards. That's my main complaint. Now, ray tracing, on the other hand, again, ray tracing is the best that it's ever been on AMD. There's no question about that. Absolutely. But if you take the 9070 XT and if you put it against the 5070 Ti, which is this direct competitor, and you look at the ray tracing benchmarks, the 5070 Ti wins every time. So I think that's what people mean whenever they talk about it. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I'm not coping. I'm just telling you the honest truth. Before this 30-day AMD challenge, I was using a 5090. Guys, I almost never run ray tracing. And it's just because I hate seeing the performance hit. Now, admittedly, with a 5090, I can offset that now with more raw power, and then also just DLSS, and if I really have to, frame generation, which is something I tried to avoid. But yeah, most of the time I don't run ray tracing most of the time. And also there's games where ray tracing is broken and it just doesn't work well. All right, let's see. I refuse to ever buy a 12 volt GPU. I agree. I mean, and wankers. Yeah. Ignore the so the 12 volt high power adapter. So as a consumer, I would probably go the same route you're going. As a reviewer, I have to have a little bit of everything to talk about, right? But eventually, I mean, if they don't stop, man, eventually the 12 volt high power connector is going to become the standard, and eventually it's going to burn down and probably kill somebody. It's probably going to burn down their house, and I hope and pray to God that doesn't happen. So yeah, something's got to change. All RTX cards have DLSS 4.5. 2000, 3000 doesn't support frame gen. Yes, I do know that. That is correct. Yes. 4000 only 2x frame gen. That is correct. 5000 multi-frame gen. That is correct. And now later this year, that multi-frame gen will go up to 6x, and it will be dynamic, which we're still learning about. But all can use the DLSS. Yes, that is correct. Okay, clear. I know where you're coming from, and yes, you're completely right in everything you said. I refuse to ever buy it. Yep. And then see you all later. Good night. Good night. See you, bud. Problem is the only older AMD GPU that has any type of AI capability, 7000 series. 6000 has none. Yep. I looked it up. So FSR4. Yep. And then Arc is really good with DLSS M at 1440p. Nice. I'll have to check that out. Hogwarts Legacy is unplayable in terms of image quality with FSR4 on with RT, and just I'm gonna try that. Thank you for bringing that up, because I have Hogwarts Legacy installed. I play it fairly regularly. I'm a big fan of the game, and I now have the 9070 XT. I've not tried it yet. I will try that. Thank you for mentioning that. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm glad that PSU, reason why NVIDIA 2000 has DLSS 4 upscaling is because the 2000 is the first GPU with AI capability. Yeah, that makes sense. I play mostly story games, so I like ray tracing. That makes sense. That completely makes sense. Especially Cyberpunk 50, 60 rates, 4K. Yep. And then how is your 9070 XT working? Working great. Working great. We've been streaming now. Guys, I'm losing count. What are we up to? Almost 3 hours. I probably got about another 5 minutes. So we've been streaming for almost 3 hours, and we've been doing this the whole time. And everything you see is being rendered with a 9070 XT with the AV1 encoder combined with the OBS. And I have Google Chrome in the background running music. I have a border that's glowing. I have things in the background moving. I had another scene that we were switching to for tech news that we were talking about earlier. And every video on the channel this week, which there are 5 videos on the channel this week, every one of them have been recorded and rendered and edited with a 9070 XT as the main driver. So it's working great. It's working great. And I wasn't trying to give you too long of an answer, but just to give you some details, it is working very good. I'm full AMD CPU now, but they still need to earn my trust with their video cards. I don't blame you. I mean, absolutely. Look, here's the thing, guys. When it comes to video cards, you got to call a spade, okay? AMD has a very rocky track record. Many times they have launched and the GPU hasn't been that great, and then by the end of the life cycle, it's amazing, and that's where the whole fine wine thing came from. And now, the launch for the 9070 XT was actually probably the best launch they've ever had GPU-wise. No driver issues, plenty of stock and supply, at least at Micro Centers anyway. I know there's some arguments on that, but 9070 XT was arguably the best GPU launch AMD's had. AMD is better than they've ever been in terms of their GPUs, but you got to call a spade a spade. AMD is not NVIDIA. They're not. NVIDIA is the market leader, and they are the market leader for a reason. They're a much bigger company. They're a much more profitable company. They have a lot more resources they can just continuously throw at stuff. Somebody mentioned this earlier, and I want to talk about this for just a second. So let's talk about it, right? So number one, I want AMD to succeed because I like AMD. But two, we need them to succeed because we need competition in the market. We read that article. I know some of you weren't here for it, but we read that article on videocards.com earlier talking about the 50 Super Series being canceled. One of the reasons that were listed in that article was because AMD does not have anything new coming out. Because the 9070 XT is the best that AMD can offer this generation, NVIDIA feels no pressure at all to offer new GPUs. Now, I'm going to be fair. We all know as consumers, with everything going on, nobody can really afford GPUs right now. We don't really need that. RAM being terrible. We get it. But the principle of the matter is, because AMD isn't competing, nothing's moving forward. We're staying stagnant. Now, right now, that's okay. But that can't continue forever, right? So you need competition. And so because we need competition, I want AMD and Intel both to succeed in the CPU and GPU market. With that being said, though, like, you got to be honest about it. NVIDIA is the market leader, and they are a market leader for a reason. And because they've been the market leader for so long, they're ahead. Look at this CES, right? AMD and NVIDIA both did the same thing on their keynotes. AI. That's all they talked about. The difference, though, was that in NVIDIA that night, at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I don't know why they did it that late, they released a GeForce Now presentation that was all gaming focused. AMD had nothing gaming related. And the one consumer product, gaming product they had, the 9850X3D, they didn't even talk about it. They just gave it to a couple of tech tubers in the back room somewhere and said, you guys go make your videos and tell the world about it. And it turns out it's a 3% performance increase. Moves like that is what keeps them ever so slightly behind. I'm not taking shots at AMD. I like AMD. My lights are not on, but if the lights were on, that entire shelf over there is nothing but AMD CPU boxes that I've spent my money on. AMD's never sent me a CPU, by the way. But so I'm not taking shots at AMD. I just want to make that clear. But you got, like, when people, like, you know, when you were saying, you know, AMD needs to earn my trust, I would say this. 9070 XT is a good recommendation. I can recommend it to anybody. But if you're going in expecting it to be exactly on par with NVIDIA, it's just not. It can't be. That's not what it is. But it is a hell of an alternative that can save you a couple of $100 depending on your market. Let's see what we got here. True. Yo, what AMD driver are you using? Whatever the latest one is right now. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if it'll tell me. See, AMD Adrenalin. Let me pop open the app. I'll take a look at it real quick and let you know. I like AMD more than NVIDIA at this point, but you are 100% right. Crap. I'm going to stop that. Pull this over. Manage updates. The AMD driver I am currently using is 25.12.1. 25.12.1. That's the driver version I'm currently on. I like AMD too. I have an AMD CPU, but I am never buying something just because I like the company. That's fair, and you shouldn't. I am buying whatever does what I need it to do. You should, as you should, absolutely. And that's why I'm doing this 30-day challenge. Because you want to know the problem with Tech YouTube. And look, guys, I'm guilty of this too. The difference is that I don't do this full time. I do this part time. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have a full-time job, software engineering, that, you know, literally pays my bills 10 times what I make here. Like, I can never live on what I make here at YouTube. But here's the problem with Tech YouTube. A massive amount of products will come out. All the tech reviewers get it. Review. No time to go back and revisit it, and then they move on. And so you get day one reviews, and if it's bad, people think it's bad forever. And if it's good, they think it's good forever. And very rarely do you get like, okay, what's the long-term usage of this? And so that's why I'm like, well, genuinely, I did my review on the 9070 XT, and it was mostly from, here's the physical card, here's the specifications of the card, here's how it performs in gaming. Okay, thank you, bye-bye. I'm not a productivity YouTuber. Like, I think Tech Notice is one that is a productivity YouTuber, but he's not a gaming YouTuber, right? So it's like you kind of get one but not the other. And so I said, I genuinely want to know how, like, okay, it's been about a year since the cards came out, a little less than a year. And I'm like, I want to know, here we are this far down the road. Is the card still holding up well? Are the drivers still holding up well? And if I had to, like, if I was in a situation where I had to use the 9070 XT, or 9070. If I had to go to AMD, can I still make the videos I make right now? Can I go live on YouTube and not struggle and all that stuff? Can I do all these things? And I am happy to report, standing here with you tonight for almost 3 hours, that the answer is yes. Yes, you can. And that was not true many years ago. 5 years ago, I had a 5700 XT. What we're doing tonight, not possible. What we are doing tonight is not possible with the 5700 XT. Everything you see tonight, everything we're doing tonight would have to be done. It would have to be done with my CPU. But instead of my CPU, right now we're doing everything with the GPU, and it's amazing. So AMD's definitely come a long way. Absolutely. NVIDIA gets away with a lot of shady stuff. Not sure I'd be trusting NVIDIA either. I can personally use NVIDIA. Yeah, I can't personally. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're right. They definitely do some shady stuff. No doubt. I wish AMD would release an XTX version of. I agree. I do too. I wish they would too. Or not. Yes, 9800 XT. That would be great. 100% agree with you. I am the same. 100% true about the tech YouTuber part. Yep. I had a 5700 XT back then too. Very strong card, but so yes, 1440p gaming. That card was freaking incredible, guys. I was coming from an Xbox One X to be exact. 5700 XT, 3800X. The game I was primarily playing was Destiny 2. Gaming, totally fine. Except when it wasn't. Meaning, like, I would have those random blue screens that were driver issues. They weren't hard drive related. They were driver issues. And then I tried to go live on Twitch. I tried to record videos in OBS and do YouTube content. That's when I was first starting. That's when I was really creating E-Rock on Tech. And, dude, just couldn't do it. And I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's when I found out about the NVIDIA encoder. And I'm like, okay, this is one of the reasons why NVIDIA is so popular. Because they're not just like the cards don't just allow you to game, they allow you to be a content creator. And now today they allow you to do heavy AI workloads. So yeah. Let's see. I had a 295 excuse me. That was my last. They killed Crossfire SLI, which I think pushed NVIDIA way ahead. Yep. Dude, yeah, I am standing. I've been standing. That podcast that I filmed with Taekwondo and Danny Z, I stood for 3 hours. And by the end of it, I was about dead. So as soon as I end the stream here, pretty soon, I'm going to be about dead. But I'm doing it for you guys. And it's just, the way my setup is, it just works. Because if I sit down, like I look all short and jog, I'm like, hey guys, So it doesn't work the same, right? Well, that may be a good place to call it, guys. We went for about 3 hours. The stream held strong. Had a lot of fun, a lot of interaction. You guys are just incredible. I was able to see some room for improvement on my part from the stream. Like, there's so many things I want to do. I want to get some more overlay stuff going. I want to get some more alerts going. I want to get the chat on screen so everybody can see their name. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Let's say goodnight. It is 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so a little bit on the later side. I don't know what time it is for all of you, but I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the incredible support. I really appreciate all of you. And hey, if you like my content, if you like me, I put out 5 videos this week. And if you haven't seen them, please go watch them because I could definitely use the support on them. I definitely want to see those grow in the algorithm. But all of you are just incredible. The support is, I'm humbled. I was not expecting to hit almost 40 people at one point tonight. I was not expecting to get any donations, let alone, what did we get, 4 or 5 of them? So that just, guys, I'm humbled. Thank you so much. There will be more streams. Okay. Thank you. Good stream. Thank you. Good night. You too. 5 a.m. here working. Woo. Night shift. Hey, stay strong. Stay strong. Thank you for hanging out. Great stream. Catch you on the flip side. Thanks, buddy. Thank you for running these tests. No worries. Absolutely. And I'm excited to make the video for you. Great stream. On my 4 a.m. Wow. All right. Well, hey, as you can hear, my voice is probably starting to go out, so I got to go. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, you know what I say at the end, right? E-Rock out. Thank you. See you guys. Good luck with